Michael likes to Michael likes to smoke weed better than eating cheese. Michael likes to smoke weed better than eating cheese. He is Adam Papagan's roommate. He loves to smoke his weed like a steam engine likes to pipe the smoke high and low. Michael loves to smoke his weed better than eating any cheese. Michael likes to smoke his weed better than liking people that are Vietnamese. Michael likes to smoke his weed better than eating any kind of cheese. Michael feels so happy when he smokes his weed. He never sneezes and says please. He loves to smoke his weed. I don't know how it makes him feel good. I never take any drugs, but I'm amazed how he loves to smoke his weed. Michael likes to smoke his weed better than liking people that are Vietnamese. Michael likes to smoke his weed better than eating cheese. You'll never catch me using drugs, 'cause I like to stay sober. But he's always a happy guy. I've never seen him get upset like Adam Papagan. Michael likes to smoke his weed more than looking at Vietnamese women. Michael likes to get stoned by smoking on. Michael likes smoking weed better than eating any kind of cheese. Oh, it's the perfume that's all around him. It makes him feel so stoned and happy. He likes to watch his football games. Snappy. Michael likes to smoke his weed better than attractive Vietnamese lady. Yeah. Michael likes to smoke his weed. He likes it better than crackers and cheese. Every time I come to the apartment, it's in perfume smell with weed. Oh, wow. That's the perfume he likes to wear and smoke. Oh, Michael loves to smoke his cheese better, his weed better than eating cheese. Michael likes smoking weed. It makes him so happy, you see. Michael likes to smoke his weed better than looking at a beautiful lady that's Chinese. Michael likes to smoke his weed better than eating any kind of Swiss cheese. He's stoned all the time. It makes him feel fine.
Anyway, I'm ready for the interview. Are you the interviewer?
Yes, sir. I am the interviewer, and it's an honor to be talking to you. Yes.
Oh, thank you. I wish you'd tell that to Tim and Eric and the people that cast the show, because they don't even return phone calls.
Well, that's what we're here to do. We're here to talk about that, and also one of the things that I was really excited to contact you about is I saw that you wanted to get onto Coast to Coast AM, and I would like to maybe do a practice run and do a really full walkthrough on your paranormal experiences, and
okay,
then
sure.
all kinds of stuff.
I I had an abduction experience growing up in Park Forest, Illinois.
Here, Dave. So first, let's start off and introduce you and everything.
Yes.
Okay, my name's David Liebe Hart. I'm a firm believer in the UFO phenomenon, and I've seen spaceships, I've seen aliens walking among us, and and it's real. It's just as real as I'm having this radio interview in the air we breathe. Let me get a chair to put by the phone, and I'll be right back.
Take your time.
I like to welcome everyone to DLive.tv. This is called.
Okay, great. Let me get my chair, and I'll be right back.
Okay.
Awesome. Very cool.
We'd like to welcome our guests to DLive.tv, DLive.tv/WeedLive. I am your host, Rage Madness, with...
My name is Frank LaFrocia. It's an honor of mine to be here.
I'm back. My
Awesome.
Sunday school teacher, Ruth Elizabeth Jinks, introduced me to Colonel Wendell Stevenson, who has been one of the big UFO people, and he was a retired Marine, and he saw things in the military, and he written many books and videos about the UFO phenomenon, and he also was in the Christian Science circle and faith that I am. He's passed on, but he was a very brilliant man.
Okay, so see, that's where I would like to start with you, with your story. It seems like the Christian Science is the foundation that opened you to spirituality, creativity, and then also the UFO.
It does. It's helped me out a lot, but like all organizations, the only thing I don't like about it is it seems to be the sting of racism and bigotry in all the organizations. Even the team I've worked around, Tim and Eric, I finally run across some people that are younger than me and your age that are still prejudiced against blacks, which really breaks my heart. They don't even return my phone call, and I've been working there for 17 years, which is a disgrace.
Wow.
And
Well,
some of them even got racially with me, and this kind of thing
From
needs to
Tim
be
and Eric?
healed. Yeah,
What?
Absolutely production.
who is that? Or you could tell us that
only
story.
Return phone calls. They called. One of them called me the end name.
No
he did
way.
apologize and told me that he grew up in he was for segregation and blacks living in separate neighborhoods. And it really, I was shocked. I thought this guy was liberal.
Wow.
And I found out he had some hidden Republican opinions inside of himself, which really hurt.
What? Who was it? Someone corresponding with
I'm
their?
not going to say who. It's just I wrote it that.
Yeah.
But there's someone working at Absolutely Production.
Wow.
And I thought they were liberal. They said they were for gay rights and for black rights, and they even told me they were leftists, but they talked Republican and act Democrat. And they talk Democrat and act Republican. They talk liberal and act conservative. And they're not. There's a lot of people that say they're liberal and they're really not. Even I've run across vegans that are supposed to be liberal and they're very racist and biased, which really hurts me.
Wow.
Vegans and people that are in liberal organizations and they still don't like blacks and people of color, and that needs to be healed in our country completely.
Wow.
Racism. Well, you see what happened with George Floyd.
Uh-huh.
I also would like to say when I first came to California, I was handcuffed and beaten up by the police in Los Angeles all the time in the 70s and 80s, and when that thing happened and that main thing happened, that guy that was Rodney got
92.
beat up. Then the police stopped beating up on blacks and Hispanics and Asians for no reason at all.
Right.
But before that, it was really bad. It happened to me over and over again. Luckily, I didn't get killed. I had to pray like hell. But anyway, going back to the UFO phenomenon.
Well, so real fast, my co-host here is actually African American.
Hello.
His name is Rage Madness, and he's also a big fan. So I just wanted to say that.
Well, thank you, Ray Masters. It's good to hear from you.
I'm just really happy.
It's a shame
Yeah.
what we have, the cross we have to bear of racism still in America. It is bad.
I agree with that.
The ELCA Lutheran Church, that's supposed to be liberal, said they didn't want any music from a someone of color. I also was told that by the Christian Science Publishing Society. I wrote beautiful hymns you can hear on the internet. If you go to Spotify, CD Baby, my album, Christian Hymns and Praise, Part 1, Part 2, and Part 3, or go to Spotify, and my album Did Ezekiel See a UFO? My first love for music came from being taught how to play organ and piano from Zethra, who was my music teacher at the Christian Science Christian Science Church in Chicago that used to be at 44th and Michigan. Then when my parents moved to Park Forest, Illinois, Mrs. Volk and Miss Waller taught me piano playing and music theory and how to write and structure songs. But it's sad that because of racism in our society, blacks are not given a chance. And then this is going to shock you. On my Caucasian side, I'm part German, Norwegian, and Swedish, and American Indian. The Germans freed the blacks to the Underground Railroad because they got shit from the English. And that's why they had to form Germantown, Pennsylvania, and Germantown, Tennessee.
In New Jersey.
And it hurt me to see a lady I knew at the ELCA Lutheran Church was hammering a woman's cards right on the internet. It's a disgrace. And she's the one who had me kicked out of the church because I was dating a white girl at her church. And it's sad. Racism is bubbling over very bad in our country. And it's supposed to be, Mrs. Eddy says, one race, one realm. And it's really sad. Well, but anyway, let's go back to the UFO phenomenon.
Well, let's build up there, because one of the reasons I reached out to you was because in this time of great divide, where it seems that we are pinned against each other and things are really getting intense in the country, I wanted to talk to you, who has come through this, and you still have love for everyone, your music and your lyrics.
Races, all people. Many of my fans are white as well as black, and I love all people equally. Yes. And I pray someday that racism ends in our country.
Same here.
But you have these old people from old school that don't want to give it up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
People that were born in the 50s, the 40s. We'll start back in with the 20s. Mm-hmm. And it hurts me that young people are being poisoned by their conservative parents against interracial dating. It hurt me that one of my staff member at Absolutely Production said that it was better when there was segregation, and blacks have their own neighborhoods and whites have their own neighborhoods.
Oh man!
How are people going to learn together if they're going to be segregated from each other?
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
stupid. And then it's very, very sad. And they don't understand that this country was built on people working together, not being segregated from each other.
Exactly.
If they wanted segregation, we would never have won the war. My Sunday school teacher, Henry Scales, was a Tuskegee flyman. He was African American like I did, and he prayed. He was a Christian Science practitioner. He prayed with the white Christian scientists that were in the Marines, and they prayed every day and worked with the 91st Psalms and the Book of Psalms and prayer to, and that's how they were able to conquer Hitler and conquer a lot of hatred, even though they were in separate platoons. The Henry Scales worked a lot with white Marines, and then they prayed that this segregation would be stopped in the Marines and the Army and the Navy, and now they don't have separate platoons anymore. But he was a brilliant man. He told me about the UFOs he saw. Henry Scales told me how he saw UFOs that were watching the war between the Americans and Hitler.
Wow.
And he said that God unfolded him different ways to drive the plane to conquer the Hitler's people, and he won.
Wow.
And they won. The Tuskegee Firemen won, and he told that he was just a brilliant man, and he only shared stuff in the Sunday school with me about just Christian Science. He shared with me about the UFO phenomenon and how it was real.
Okay. So and then
he also taught me was the book of Ezekiel, how the UFO phenomenon was real. And he talked about how Elijah was taken up in a chariot, which they called UFOs back then.
Chariot, yes.
And he was just a brilliant man, and he treated me better than the and helped me out better than the white military people. I tried to get all the white and black military people in Christian Science to pray about overcoming the Corona-19 problem. If the extraterrestrials could give us back engineering technology to make the computers, the cell phones, and the GPS, and a lot of the video games, I know they have the back engineering technology to stop Corona-19.
Yeah, there we go.
And
Yeah.
I tried to share this with Mark Sweeney, who's a Christian Science teacher and practitioner. He never returned my phone call. I tried to share the same principles with Josh Niles, who was once a Christian Science, who was an Army officer, and he's a Christian Science practitioner and teacher. He never returned my phone calls. I don't call Derek Swire anymore because he feels I don't have any music talent, and he used to be a Navy SEAL, which breaks my heart. The only one that seems to be kind to me, who is an ex-Marine, is Robert Staneman, who's a journalist and practitioner. He understands that the UFO phenomenon is real, but it breaks my heart that Dick Kintro is an ex-Marine, never returns my phone call from Santa Barbara. And I said, well, all of us military people could team together and pray about the Corona-19. We could overcome this coronavirus just like the Skiggy Flyman overcame Hitler and his band of criminals.
Wow.
But you see, united we stand, divided we fall. I can't. And I tried to call and contact Colonel Janet Horton, who used to be in the Defense Department, who was a Christian Scientist and a part African-American like me, a part white like me. And I haven't even got her return phone calls. And she lives in Florida, and she's over the military chaplain department for the Christian Science Church. But you know, there's power in unity, and segregation. It divides us, and we need more diversity. We need people working together, not being segregated from each other.
Yes,
absolutely.
Do you feel like it was discrimination, them not accepting your phone calls or returning the phone calls, or do you think it was just
extremely rude? I don't want to give any names, but right now, I need help during the Corona-19, and nobody has returned my phone calls from Absolutely Production, and I've given them so much, made them so much money, and what hurts me is I was supposed to get parts on the different shows, and after they promised me, they gave them to other actors, and I could help. They would get more. I was supposed to be on Beef House. I was supposed to be on Tim and Eric Nighttime Stories, and they promised the job to me. Many times I was supposed to tour with Tim and Eric. The fans asked Tim and Eric to let me tour with them. They would choose anybody else to go with them but me, and I made them a lot of money, and that was heartbreaking. I felt so hurt. The only person that hurt me this bad was my ex-wife that left me for Roberto Julius Gonzalez. And then she lied and said, "Oh, I love you. I'll never leave you." I saw the restraining order she put on Daisy Gonzalez's wife when I was moving out of our home we had together. So I know, and then the neighbors told me how she was going to bed with Roberto Julius Gonzalez. She had no respect for the marriage vows, and people that I was told when I got married, people that were going to die after you got married, and that was a disgrace toward God, me, and my family and friends when she disrespected the marriage vows.
Wow!
I would, I bless her, release her, and forgive her, and forget her, and wish her the best. I even blocked her from my phone. And then she tried to do a swindle and say, well, she tried to talk to my sisters and my family members. We could make a lot of money by having David assassinated, by having him put in an institution and take all his money and all his stuff from him. That's what my ex-wife was planning on doing, and when I found out she was planning on doing that, I blocked her from my phone. When I was divorced from her,
David,
I took her money.
Wow.
I took her food when she was living in Riverside. I helped pay her car notes, and this is the thanks she gave me. adultery and disrespect toward the marriage vows. And then I found out that she had an abortion and had my son killed. So people like this, you have to bless, release. And I'm going to tell you something. Your young kids, never, ever, no matter how much you love a woman, never get a joint account with her. Because when she doesn't want you and she dumps you like an old piece of furniture, she's going to go after your car.
Everything.
Clean up everything from your bank account.
100%.
Take it from someone who's had experience.
And
thank you, David. I really appreciate that.
Never take care of a family member. I took care of a family member for 15 years on my Caucasian side, Phyllis McKinnon. I was supposed to inherit one of her buildings. I was thrown out on the street cold with nowhere to go after I took care of her for 15 years from my white relatives. So if you ever take care of a family member, make sure you have a copy of the will inside a safe deposit box so you have some protection for yourself. Because people, after someone dies, they're crazy.
Yeah.
After my sister Tyra Zilberberg died, they didn't wait for a lawyer to divide stuff. My greedy family, the people that married in my family, the Zilberbergs, grabbed everything from my sister Tyra Zilberberg. They didn't even have respect to have a funeral. And then they didn't respect to have a will or a estate to be divided up things equally. And they just took everything. And it was a disgrace.
Wow.
And then the police in Lancaster, Texas said, well, here's a 32 gun for the police officers are African American like me. Here's a 32 gun for you to kill, to fight over the property.
Yeah.
And here's a 32 gun for the other family to fight over property. And we'll just look and laugh and didn't care. It is sad, and I don't like black on black crime.
That's what I was about to say.
That's wrong.
That's what
blacks. You know, what hurt me is a lot of, this is really sad, a lot of black businesses that donated millions of dollars to the African American community.
Yeah.
It was wrong that these looters destroyed their property.
Right.
And I'm for the civil rights movement. I'm for justice. But you don't destroy your own neighborhood.
That's right. You don't destroy your own neighborhood.
And this was crazy. I was told that we got to unite. We as blacks got to stick together and help each other. Whites got to stick together, and black and white need to stick together and help each other. Because what made this country is unity, not segregation.
Yeah,
what made this country was unity, not segregation.
Unity.
With diversity. Because blacks and whites have paid taxes and built this country up just as equally, and so did Hispanics and Asians. And it's wrong, and racism is what's tearing the country down. Mary Baker Eddy says, one infinite God, good, unifies men and nation, constitutes the brotherhood of man, ends wars, fulfills the scriptures, love thy neighbor as thyself. Whatever is wrong in social, civil, criminal, political codes, equalizes the sexes, annuls the curse on man, and leaves nothing that can sin, suffer, be punished, or destroyed.
Wow.
This is the problem, is like they said, like the Fifth Dimension say in their song, united we stand, divided we fall. And I feel the Democrats and the Republicans should come together and work together and find out what they have in common with each other instead of what they have against each other. They need to build, like they say in unity, they need to build bridges, not walls. You know, they need to work together as a team because we're not getting anywhere with all this hate campaign going on.
Absolutely.
And now I'll tell you something. The Germans, I'm part German. The Germans and Norwegians, I'm part Norwegian and Swedish. They weren't accepted by the English. They had to start Germantown, Tennessee, Germantown, Pennsylvania. They are the ones that helped free blacks through the Underground Railroad because many of them were brought over as white servants. This has been told from my family down my Caucasian side that my family became biracial way back during slavery time because there were whites that didn't like the racism that their forefathers were doing against blacks. And that's why the Quaker Friends, the Mennonites, and the Lutherans, and the liberal Presbyterians worked hand in hand to free blacks through the Underground Railroad, and were praying that they didn't agree with their forefathers' belief in racism and conservativeness. Now, I shared the idea about Harriet Tubman movie, and they never got back with me and told the story right. And I'd like to see the Harriet Tubman movie done over again because it showed whites and blacks working together, and they don't show that.
Yeah.
We work together so I like the new generation to become friends with the minorities, the Hispanics, Asians, and other groups of people, and have unity to work together to make diversity, not racism or segregation. Don't follow your parents. Girls I've dated. My best friend George Kerr. We were the best of friends. Soon as his sister and his family and Simi Valley said, "Oh, you can have nothing to do with that colored guy." He never returned my phone call.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
Yeah,
My
nothing.
girlfriend, Sonia Rude, Fabian. I wrote songs about them. You could hear on the internet.
Beautiful
they
woman.
were not a law unto themselves, and my ex-wife Bridget to think for themselves. They were influenced. Oh, you should have nothing to do with that colored guy. He's a Negro. They didn't think for themselves. They didn't know I was a brilliant man and had a lot on the ball. They listened to their white, conservative, racist people to have nothing to do with me, and they decided they cut me off.
So
Vanilla Burnett, who put the New Christian Science hymnal together, told me, "We don't want colored people writing music for the New Christian Science hymnal. We only want the Negro slave songs in the new supplement." And everybody on the music committee, Susan Matt, my music teacher, Judy Wade, with Watchfire Music. I am ashamed of Judy Wade. She was my music teacher. And now she tells me, "Oh, you colored people don't have any music talent. I'm not going to record any of your albums with Watchfire Music." And then her husband, Peter Link, told me the same thing. And they're Christian scientists like me.
Man, that's
Same thing with Susan Matt. I'm so ashamed of these people. And they call themselves Christian scientists, and they're racist against the African-American Christian scientists. And then what hurts me is my best friend, who's Caucasian, Peter Allen. We worked together at the Christian Science Church, first and second readers together. Worked together. I recorded from his studio. He said, "Oh, you colored people aren't good enough to do your own music and stuff. You should get some white people to do your albums and music." And when Peter Allen told me, that broke my heart. I thought that he was beyond that. His teacher, Beverly Bemis Hawkins, told him to have nothing to do with colored people. And he was my best friend.
Yeah, man.
And I loved him like the son I never had.
Wow.
And he's been brainwashed with racism. And I love Peter Allen, and it hurt me that he can't think for himself.
Wow. Do you feel like slavery, and do you feel like slavery still exists?
Slavery is going on right now.
Right.
When they got our black community and our Hispanic community hooked on drugs.
Exactly.
And
prisons.
The white Ku Klux Klan and neo-Nazis are selling drugs to our black community.
And that's what's killing our black community.
That's and this is what's destroying the black community is drugs.
And then
I lost I'll put it this way. I was friends with June Pointer. I love June Pointer. She, from the Pointer Sisters, she liked me a lot, but she didn't believe, and she was just divorced. I met her in Westwood, and we met every year when she came to Los Angeles for dinner. But she said she didn't believe in dating someone old enough to be her son. She said I was just a baby to her. And she would go out to eat with me and talk with me about the music business and help me, encourage me in the music business. I broke my heart when I found out she died of an overdose. And I loved her like my mom.
Oh, wow.
June Pointer.
What she overdosed?
It hurt me.
What did she overdose on?
She died of an overdose because I looked up to her like I would look up to my mother, like I would look up to someone I respected. And it just broke my heart to find out this woman who helped me out in the music business let drugs take her life in Oakland, California.
Oakland.
Wow.
And I loved her. She helped me out, even though we never became girlfriend and boyfriend. We only became friends. She was a prude. She didn't believe in and sex out of marriage. I dated this woman named Georgia Ingalls, who was a prude, who didn't believe in sex out of marriage, and she died a Dempster, and she was a wonderful lady. She was going to come back to me. She was the actress who played on the Mary Tyler Moore Show. She played on the last 4 seasons of Everybody Loves Raymond, and she called me on the phone and told me as soon as she finished being they have readers in the Christian Science Church instead of pastors. She was a reader with Miss Collins, who was a Christian Science teacher and practitioner and New York, and First Church of Christ Scientist in New York. And so Georgia Ingalls promised me that as soon as she said, her practitioner, Everett Seegers, told her it was a sin for her to date a black man, and that's why she quit seeing me and dating me. She couldn't be a law unto herself, a thing for herself. And then she came and said, David is a nice person. He's into acting like I am. He's into music like I am. I'm going to take him back. So she called me back and apologized to me and said as soon as she finished working in New York at a Christian Science church as a first and second reader, she'd come back to California and date me on a regular basis. But it never happened. She died in New York.
Wow.
She died but she was starting to wake up that she was being brainwashed by racism.
Wow.
And it was sad that it just never came to be. Then Robin Williams and I stayed at the St. Moritz Hotel together across from Channel 5 in Hollywood.
Wow.
He worked as a bartender at Denny's, and I was working at Kentucky Fried Chicken when they used to hire blacks to work different 9-to-5 jobs. Now they hire illegal aliens to pay cheaper. But to make a long story short, Robin Williams and I were good friends. And Gary, I'll never forget, Gary Marshall says when he saw Robin Williams and I performing at the Comedy Store together, Gary Marshall gave him his card and said, I want you to do one Happy Days, but I don't want your Daffy Duck black friend to be a part of it, which was very racist. That was
my
from Gary
God.
Marshall.
Right. Daffy Duck. Wow.
And so Gary Marshall says, if you do intern work, I will cast you into TV shows. I did intern work every Tuesday and Thursday for Gary Marshall. This actress, she's dead now, B. Benaderick, not B. Benaderick. She played the landlady on Laverne and Shirley.
We're gonna do it.
She played the landlady on there, and she was originally on All in the Family as a neighbor.
I know you talking about.
But
yes.
anyway, she was an elderly lady.
Yeah.
She married Laverne's dad on the Laverne and Shirley's show. She spoke up, and she was a woman's lib, and she said to Gary Marshall, "Why you would get more viewers if you would integrate the show more with African Americans." Betty Derrick was her name. Betty Derrick. Betty Derrick did a lot of movies in the 40s, and Betty Derrick said, I think it's shameful that you won't cast David in any shows. And then Gary Marshall says, well, I produced Here's Lucy in the Lucy Show, and I kept it white and pure. And says, that's wrong. Betty Derrick says you should have David, since he's doing warm-ups for the show, you should have David do walk-on acting on Happy Days, Laverne and Shirley, Blanston's Beauties, and even Nancy Walker told him that. But he said he wanted the shows segregated. And he was a very brilliant man. I learned a lot from him about filming and producing shows. That's how I was able to do a good job of producing the Junior Christian Science Bible.
Yeah, I want to talk about that.
I did not like the racism that Gary Marshall had toward black people. It was wrong. And I thought he was Italian, so he should have known better.
Yeah, you would think. Oh, man.
So he had me thrown out of the studio with Betty Derrick. He had Laverne and Shirley show moved from Milwaukee to Hollywood, and B. Benaderick, the other woman, Betty Derrick. Betty Derrick was her name. Betty Derrick, who played on the landlady on Laverne and Shirley, she was fired from the show. She was replaced with a Swedish actress.
Oh,
and then they made Laverne and Shirley done like it was done in Hollywood.
Yeah.
And you never saw Betty Derrick again on the show, even though she married Laverne's dad on the show. They never had her come back on the show.
Wow.
And because she spoke up for me that she was against the racism that I was experienced with Gary Marshall. And she was a brilliant lady. In fact, Betty Derrick had me do music at her Unity Church. She belonged to the Unity Church. She was a very nice lady, and she had me do music at her Unity Church.
That's
even
awesome.
though I was a Christian Scientist.
How did you get involved with the TV show, the first one that you were doing, the Christian Science?
It's
No.
very hard. Oh, water's leaking down here. Uh-oh. The landlady never fixes anything in my apartment, and the water's leaking.
Oh, man.
Water's leaking down from upstairs.
Yeah.
The Millennium Equities Apartments, I have a problem with them fixing things. I pay my rent on time, even through COVID-19, and I'm still having problems.
Oh, man.
With now water's leaking from. I could get electrocuted. I do need to get someone that can help me.
Okay.
Can you call us back?
But anyway, I need to call the landlady. Can I put you on hold?
Yeah, you can put me on hold. That's fine.
We can
That's
talk
perfect.
about
Yeah,
other
we'll
stuff.
just be talking and playing videos of
We'll
yours.
talk about other stuff. Oh,
Cool.
my God. We haven't...
Wow, this is so exciting. Yeah, I'm very, very, very excited to have David Liebe Hart on live, and we're learning a lot about his history. I want to talk about the science project, or the Christian Science...
water's leaking from. I could get electrocuted. I do need to get someone that
Oh, that's my video.
It was like he said it. It's like he's... I was going to say, maybe we need to send 911 over to his house. You know? Something's going on over there. Wow. This man lived, apparently, an exciting life. This is my newest friend, David Liebe Hart.
Liebe Hart.
Liebe Hart. I love this guy. I might not pronounce his name right, but I love this guy, his energies, and I'm relating to some of the same issues that he's relating to, having to develop himself in a world relating to racism and classism, in a sense. And just imagine, I can't imagine what it was like in the early 60s and 70s, in most of his stories that he's talking now, and now some issues. Wow.
So this is a video that I found. I want to ask him about this.
Yeah.
So we're going to watch some of this.
You've seen nothing yet. Here's magician, actor, and all-round Renaissance man Andy Nyman to tell you about the Junior Christian Science Bible lesson.
In 1996, I was in LA, and my phone went, and my friend said, for God's sake, put on public broadcast TV now. So I quickly put it on, and just could not believe what I was both seeing and hearing. It's the most bizarre, horrible, extraordinary piece of Christian puppeteering
They're critical on it. I think it's a masterpiece.
you'll ever see.
This is just cool. It's a lot of footage of old stuff.
To say no to racism, smoking, drinking, drugs, or anything that would limit us from our highest good.
This guy's been doing this show for 20 years, and it looks like it was filmed in the late 60s. I mean, it is the colours and the clothes that people are wearing, the clothes that I'm not just talking about the puppets, I mean the people, and it's the oddest collection of human beings. It's a guy called David Liebe Hart, who is this guy who is, he believes he was abducted by aliens. He has the strangest singing voice in the world.
I am the image and likeness of God. I am the image and likeness of God. I am the image of health, and image of strength, the image of strength, the image of wealth. I am the image and likeness of God. I am.
He's honestly like The Ring. Once you've got this, once you've seen this, it will be with you for the rest of your life, because once you've heard him singing, it's in forever. It's not going anywhere. The puppets that he is fucking dragged out of burnt out buildings, I think made Chucky from Child's Play look like something you would want to cuddle. The main puppet is called Albert Herman, which sounds like a sort of Nazi war criminal. He has Teddy Eddy, who is this panda who he has to make come alive to sing.
Now Teddy Eddie has a song for us, but wait until he comes alive.
And by that, it just means he sort of takes his hand out of Albert Herman and just sort of leaves that one dead. Whilst the other one sort of, you know, struggling to animate this thing.
Hi, my name is Teddy Eddie, and I'll be singing the song Mark the Perfect Man. And let's start with...
At one point, Teddy Eddie has this 4.5
Hello?
minute opera
Hello?
aria.
There he is. Hey, David.
I need you to call the landlord and let him know that you're interviewing me and water is leaking from
Absolutely.
507 to 407, and I can't reach the landlady, and water's dripping
Give me the
down
phone, Rage.
from the plumbing.
Okay, hold.
Okay, we can call while you're on air right now.
Hold up for a
Okay.
second. Hold up a second. Give us a second because I got to get my phone turned on.
Okay, yeah. So what is?
Call the landlady because none of my cell phones are working, which
Area
is crazy.
Area
Call, and you need to tell Verizon my phone isn't working. Well, the phone number of the landlady is 213-296-4166, and tell her water is dripping from 507 to 407, and I've had this problem
507
before,
to 407.
and you're interviewing me, and I can't reach her by my phone.
Okay, so I can
And
put you.
Tell her it's dripping from their bathroom to my bathroom, and I could get electrocuted. And then if you can't reach her, you can call the owner of the building, which is Millennium Equity, which is 213-739-2000, and let them know I can't reach the landlady. Something's wrong with
What
the
was
phone.
that? 739. What was the other one? The last number.
213
Yep.
739-2000 is the phone number of the main office, and tell them I can't reach Beatrice, the landlady, and water is
Okay.
dripping down, and
Let's
I can
call
get
her.
electrocuted.
Okay, here. We'll call them right now while you're on air. You can call them.
Thank you. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You may be able to speak to them. It might
I'm gonna
work.
put it on speaker.
Thank you.
Yeah, absolutely.
So we with David Liebe Hart right now having emergency drip in his house from one apartment to the next, and we're gonna see if we can try to help him with this drip. We want to put this.
It's coming from the hallway that leads to the bathroom as well. Water is dripping,
Water's dripping into his. Yes.
and I tried to reach Beatrice, and I've had this problem for 2 years
Oh
now.
my God! Wow. Well, we're
And I
gonna.
pay my rent on time and everything with COVID-19.
All right. Well, we're trying to call it right now. It might be that number is not active because it is not. It's.
It's not.
Let's see.
Welcome to Verizon Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as the called party.
Okay. So let's
You
try
wanna
the second one.
We're gonna try.
You want to call them and tell them that the phone number that David Liebe Hart pays for is not working. That 213-422-4599. But you first need to call the landlady at 213-296-4166 and let her know that there's a plumbing problem.
Oh.
From 507 to 407.
We're calling the office right now. Here's the office.
I don't mean to laugh, but your voice.
Morning, and thank you for calling Commercial Property Management. If you know the name or the extension number...
Here, David, is this them?
Yes, it is. You want to call, you want to hit Camellia. If you can't get Camellia, get a regular operator.
Press 0 for live assistance.
Because 0 for the
Hi,
life
can we?
Zero.
Press
You press
0.
for live assistance. We're getting it.
Press bring to operator.
Okay.
Is
Here
the
we
drip
go.
pretty big? Is the drip pretty big, or how big is the drip?
It's just coming down on my head as
Oh,
we
my
speak on the
goodness.
phone,
Wow.
and I could get electrocuted.
Hopefully not. I don't know. Unless you're touching anything electric, but
I'm
Yeah.
collecting the phone.
Do you live? So you
oh,
live?
it's a landline.
Yeah.
So you live in California right now, right, Mr.
Yeah,
David?
I do. I live in California.
Okay,
We're in Northern California.
we're
as
in
well.
Northern California.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna try and call this number back.
We're gonna try to dial this number again or a
And
different
hit
number.
0.
Okay.
And hit 0, yeah, for operator.
And if we don't, we're just going to have to call the city, and you're eyewitnesses
Yeah.
about this bad. Call the city and let the city know be transferred to the housing department.
Gotcha.
Wow.
This has been going on for a long time.
Good morning, and thank you for calling Commercial Property Management. If you know the name or the extension number of the person or department you are calling, press the pound key and say that person's
So I can
name.
do 0 or I can do Camille, you said, right?
Zero. If we can't reach them, then call Camellia, the owner of the building,
Okay.
the manager of all.
Wow. Can I get my... Oh.
Thank you for helping me.
Yeah, absolutely.
No, what people are going through with the pay the and the Millennium Equities owns property all over Los Angeles and other states.
And the properties are not in like the best conditions for living in.
Yeah.
Wow.
And I pay all this money. I'm paying like almost $1,000 to live here.
Mm.
And they went up on my rent right after COVID-19. They went up on my rent.
No operator is available at this time. Please leave
Okay.
us a message, and we will return
You
your
want to be
call as soon as
transferred to
possible.
Camellia
If
then?
you'd like to leave us a message so we can return
You wanna leave a
your call.
message?
Next opportunity,
Hold on.
please say yes,
I'll
or
leave a
press 1
message.
on your telephone keypad. For other choices, say no or press 2. Please
Okay.
say the first
Hi.
and last name of the person you would like to call now.
Camellia?
Camellia.
I'm sorry, I didn't recognize your request. Please say that again.
Camellia.
Your request matched 2 names. Please press or say 1 for
Camellia, Rangel,
Yes,
2
sir.
for
Camellia, this is David Liebe Hart at the Dixboro's apartment. I cannot reach Beatrice, the manager, and the water is leaking from 507 to 407, and I'm being interviewed since I'm a TV actor by a radio station, and the water is dripping on me, and I could get electrocuted. I cannot reach Beatrice at 213
Wow.
296-4166. I tried to call her. The radio station
sorry,
that's
I didn't
interviewing me
recognize your
tried to
request.
call her.
Please say
We
that
can't
again.
reach her, and I could get electrocuted, and I'm a senior citizen, and the water is dripping from 507 to 407, and I could get electrocuted. If you could give me a call back or call the apartment manager at 213-296-4166, or you can call me back at 213-381-0791. I've had this problem off and on for 4 years, and you need to get the plumbing fixed in this building. I paid my rent on time, even though COVID-19, I still paid my rent on time. So I shouldn't have these dramas I'm having to go through. So please get there. I was told by the landladies they're not doing anything until after the coronavirus. They need to fix this now. This I could get electrocuted.
Oh my God.
This is serious.
We're gonna have to call another number because there was no answer there on that number.
Yeah, it said could not register or something. So do you want me to try
He
and...
properly does that. Okay, call the city.
Okay.
You know, I'm tired of being disrespected.
Yeah,
Call the
absolutely.
City, 311.
Uh-huh.
Call 311.
Okay.
And
That's information.
All right, here we go.
We're gonna.
So you know how to get through to them?
Able to complete your call. To speak to a customer service representative,
311 for the housing to let them know.
311 said could not be completed as dialed.
Okay, you want to call the city the city of Los Angeles, the mayor's office, and let them know, or call the governor's office, Governor Tony, Mr. Newton. This is serious. They won't still do anything. Try the landlady's number one more time.
Okay. 213.
296
You're so.
4166.
Okay.
I'm not laughing at your situation. I'm laughing at you because you can take everything and make it so funny, and I love it.
Very much. And I'd like you to send a copy of this interview to the governor's office to let
Absolutely.
them know what people are going through. They'd even pay their rent on time.
Wireless. Your call cannot be completed as dialed. Please check the number and dial again.
Her phone number's disconnected?
It's what it says, 296-4166.
And it's 213, right?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
296
Uh-huh.
4166.
Yeah.
And no one's answering the phone.
It just said the number cannot be completed as dialed or whatever. It was disconnected.
Wow.
Ask him
You
for his
need to call,
landlord.
I'd like you to send a copy of this interview
Uh-huh.
to the mayor's office in Los Angeles and let them know what's going on. And I said that Millennium Equities, there's no operator to be, and you need to call them back and tell them I'm a famous actor that they were interviewing.
Yeah, absolutely.
And
Let's do
let
that.
them know and find since 311 probably can only be reached through Los Angeles. You want to probably find out what the main number that can be reached.
Well, I can look it up online right now. You want to reach the governor? You want us to call the governor's office?
Yes.
California governor?
I love you so much. I love you so much, Mr. Liebe Hart. I love you so much.
Thank you. Thanks. It's sad what I'm going through.
It is. It's really a shame.
I love you so much. I'm laughing because I'm glad that you can bring the humor up in situations, and that's what we need to do in our societies. When we're going through a situation, if we can twist it like your humor, your comedy that you bring out,
thank you.
It's real. It's real.
Thank you.
It's real. It's real.
Here we go. We got the governor's office.
Thank you for calling the office of Governor Gavin Newsom. In order to expedite your call, please select from the following options. To continue in English, please press 1 now.
English.
For office hours, mailing address, fax number, or
I need to speak to someone from the office.
please press 1. If you would like to speak to a representative, please press 6.
See, Camellia has, so you can't even. She's the manager and owner of the building that you can't. She's Armenian that you can't even reach her during emergency. Something crazy. And then the landlady's number's disconnected. What are people going to do if emergency happens in this building? And all of my cell phones, unfortunately, are all dead. It's weird, and I charge them all. My 213-422-4599 number is not working. You need to tell that to Horizon, and I pay my bill on time, and my
Master, he's a genius.
Only my landline's working.
You're a genius.
You have a very intense memory for numbers and all that.
Well, being an actor, you have to memorize things.
Right.
Yes. And
can you see if you can text that number to the landlady at 213-296-4166?
Yeah.
And tell her that there's a leak coming from 507 to 407, and you were interviewing me, and I'm being dripped by water as we speak. From their bathroom to my bathroom, and I could get electrocuted.
Yeah, I'll send that text as soon as possible. I'm just on hold right now with the governor's office.
Okay.
like anybody really want to talk to the governor or anybody right now with everything that's...
Well, something's got nobody at the mayor's office is picking up. The owner of the building's not picking up. The manager's not picking up.
They probably thinking there's going to be a bunch of...
Millennium Equity lady is out to lunch.
Probably, but everybody's probably thinking right now, if they answer, if there's going to be a lot of calls into the government, it might be all relating to, like, Black Lives Matter, and this is a life matter relating to a black man.
I'm African American, and if you don't reach me now, just tell them that I pay my rent on time. I'm African American, I'm ex-veteran, and they said they're not fixing anything until after the COVID-19. That may not be until another 2 or 3 years. And the water is leaking from upstairs to downstairs. And you're my witness. And this, and you know what? Put this online so all people can see what people that rent apartments are going through.
Absolutely, absolutely. This is live right now.
Because Millennium Equity is wealthy. And this is just ridiculous. I pay my rent on time, and the landlady told me they're not fixing anything until after COVID-19. And I've been patient with her. I have to call 4 or 5 times to get a rent receipt from her. She gave it to me on time this month.
Wow.
And you can put up there, I need a lawyer that can help me fight for tenants' rights, because this is ridiculous what I'm going through.
Wow. And you probably got...
I've had a lot of my furniture and stuff get ruined from the leaks in the past. This leak has been going off and on for 2 years.
Wow.
And I know that you did a song relating to how much stuff that you collect in your house because you got it piled.
All that stuff got put in 4 storage places.
Okay.
The apartment has hardly anything in it now.
I saw that video where you were singing a song about like you like collecting.
Yeah, well, I do like to collect things, but all that stuff has gone into 4 storage places.
Okay, that's good. That's
so
good.
you want to try to call the office again and see what's up with him?
So I'm on hold for the governor's office right now. It might be a little while. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. We could hang up there and try another one if you want, but we could stay on with them and get in touch with the governor.
Okay, you want to this is what tenants go through all over the United States.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
But some landlords not fixing anything. Even though the governor told me I didn't have to pay my rent until after COVID-19, I still religiously have been paying my rent on time all through COVID-19, all through March to now, and I run across not getting things fixed in the apartment. The landlady says she's not going to fix anything until after COVID-19. I'm paying almost $1,000 to live here. I'm being baptized with water leaking from 507 to 407. This is my I have this radio station as a backup, just like when they saw George Floyd being beat up by the police. You see, I'm being beat up by the apartment owners not wanting to fix the plumbing at Millennium Equities. And I've been living here ever since 1994.
Wow.
Always pay my rent on time. Always move stuff to storage whenever they said I had too much in my apartment. My apartment's like an empty hotel. Hardly anything's in there now. I have to go back and forth to get my clothes, since they and to get things I want, records to play or something. So this is not right that I should have to go through this drama. I had to wait 4 months last year to get a refrigerator when my refrigerator went out. All my food spoiled.
Wow.
And the $200 worth of steak, meat, pork, everything was gone. And then my pilots went out on my stove, and now they say they're not going to fix anything until after COVID-19. And now this is weird. None of my phones are working. It is weird. None of my phones are working. I went to use 323-504-2532. That the phone is dead. I went to use 213-422-4599. That phone number is dead. 323-504-2532 is dead. The only thing that's working is my landline.
Wow.
It's really sad.
Well,
you have to have the patience of Job.
You got to have the patience.
California with all the crazy things that go on here.
Do you are you still in the Christian Society, a Christian Science Society?
I'm still in Christian Science.
Okay.
I'm a member of the Mother Church. I've had class instruction with a woman named Cynthia Neely who wouldn't even let me attend my own association.
Yeah.
After I paid $100 to go through class instruction, she only let me come there 1 week, and I'm supposed to have 2 weeks of class instruction. The Mother Church said I couldn't have class instruction with another Christian Science teacher, so that messed me up from being a practitioner and a teacher.
Wow.
Cynthia Neely wouldn't let me come to my own associations. She told me she didn't like it that I put the Christian Science hymns to modern music, and she didn't like black men because of the bad experience she had with her black husband. She was taking out all her anguish and unkindness she received from her husband, her ex-husband, on me.
Wow.
And she was very mean to me, Cynthia Neely. And then she made me pay $1,000 to her for prayer for coming to the association. And then she gave me the cold shoulder when she was lecturing all over the United States. She wouldn't even speak to me. And this was a woman I went through class instruction with in Christian Science.
A member of Governor Newsom's staff will be with
No, it's still hold. I didn't know if they picked up.
We're
Sorry.
still on hold.
And nobody's picked up the phone from the governor's office.
Yeah, we're still on hold. It's kind of worth it though. At this point, we'll really get to him.
to learn more about
Can you text them and let them know what's going on? Text the governor's office.
Text the governor's office. I don't know if it's a phone number. I think it's a landline.
You can try.
I can try. You're right.
You can find an email for them.
Okay, yeah, I'll look on the email while I'm on the laptop.
And then you can find an email from Millennium Equities and let them know that you were interviewing me and there was you tried to reach Beatrice at 213-296-4166 and she could not be reached. And there's a leak coming from 507 to 407, and I've had this problem for 2 years.
Do you?
And you were interviewing me since I'm a famous actor, and the water was leaking on my head while I'm speaking from a landline phone, and I could get electrocuted. And you tried to dial. My cell phones weren't working to get through to the lady at 213-296-4166. And you all tried, and the phone looked like it was disconnected. We tried to call the office. Nobody was there to take the phone. And then we tried to call the city.
You're a master.
You're
master
and
genius.
We couldn't get through there, which is 311. Now we tried to call Mr. Newton, the governor's office, and couldn't get through.
We've been on hold for 10 minutes as of right now.
I was just wondering, Mr. David.
And tell them that I'd like you all to see. Now, I like you to call up Absolutely Production. Why did the famous actor David Liebe Hart, his phone calls are never returned?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's going to be next on our list. We'll do that while you're here on air. But what we got to do first is make sure. I want to send that email that you asked. I'm going to try and reach. I'm going to make sure that I'm getting in touch with the right.
Tell them, in spite that Mr. Newton told me I didn't have to pay my rent till after, I still have been paying it religiously every month.
Right.
And
you want me to email Gavin Newton or Millennial Equities?
Email Gavin Newton and tell him, even though he said I didn't have to pay my rent, I've been paying my rent religiously every month, and I don't have a lot of money. And water's leaking from one apartment to another, and they said they're not going to fix anything until after COVID-19 ends. And you tried to get in touch with me through the city, and the city's not picking up at 311, and the landlady's not picking up at 213-296-4166. You tried to call the office of Millennium Equities. No one picks up at 213-739-2000. You tried to call the manager, the owner of the building, Camellia, and nobody picked up. You can't even leave her a message.
It's kind of difficult to find Governor Gavin Newton's email address, but I'm looking for it.
What about this? There needs to be something to get through.
Right.
Because this is a serious thing. I could get. They already had a senior die in this building who was ex-Marine, named Chester, just a month ago.
Oh my God!
Oh my God!
By himself.
Jesus Christ.
And maybe he got electrocuted from this kind of problem that's going on.
Wow.
Water's still leaking down on me.
Is there any way that you can probably move from that location to another location where the water's not dripping on you right now?
You need to try to call Millennium Equities and tell them that. They can pay for the movement and everything.
Right.
Even if you get, maybe you can send a text to them at 213-739-2000.
Okay.
So we cannot reach the landlady. You've tried. You're my witness. I might need to pay you all, or do all go to court with me about this, because this is dangerous.
Anytime. We're here in the state, David. Absolutely.
Yeah, because this is what people go through.
Videotape
And put this on the internet when I'm going through it. I'm a famous actor.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll make a documentary about it.
And tell them this guy who works for Absolutely Production, his name is Clark Rankers. He hasn't returned my phone call in a month. He stood me up at Christmas time. He said he was going to take me. He's one of the casting directors for Absolutely Production. He said he was going to take me out for Christmas dinner. Never showed up. His name is Clark Rankers, and he's the casting director of the Tim and Eric awesome show for Absolutely Production. Also, my phone calls are not returned by Carl Filer, who produced I Love David, or Vera Drew. There's just no respect.
Absolutely.
We have.
And they're white, and I'm African American.
I have 3 emails right now for Absolutely.
You were so funny.
Okay, you need to send them to all of the emails and tell them that Clark Rankers and Joey Lyon has not returned David phone calls now in 3 weeks.
Hold on, we'll do that for you. But they have a press inquiries email and
tell them press and put in the press. Why don't you hire David Liebe Hart more for the shows? He's made you all a lot of money, and you all are fans. You ought to put in your opinion. I should have been on Beef House. I should have been on tour with him and Eric, and they changed their mind at the last moment. Why is this happening?
All right, hang on.
I've written songs for this show. I've done actings for this show. I've done puppet shows.
Are you getting royalties? Are you getting royalties for all the work that you've done with these guys?
They have not paid me as a songwriter, and I'm an ASCAP songwriter.
Wow.
Well, all of the songs from that show are...
They've only paid me. I told Clark Rankers, who produced Absolutely Production, and John Ugard, I told them to put me down as a songwriter for all the songs I wrote for Tim and Eric Awesome Show. Great job.
Whoa.
And they didn't do it.
That's crazy,
I'm an ASCAP
actually.
publisher and songwriter.
Well, John Mugar is who we have to contact then, because I remember him from the actual show.
John Mugar's no longer working for the show.
Oh, really?
And Clark Rankers is still working for the show, and Mr. Drew is. This is serious. The water is really dripping down.
Oh my God.
Okay, you want to try to call the...
we're still on hold here with the governor. I can't hang up with them if you want. It seems like it's going to be on there for a while.
We're not going to get in touch with the government.
Let the governor's office know how long it takes for people to reach their office.
Yeah, this is very true.
And this is a serious situation. And I'm a famous actor, and I'm in an apartment that's a building that I can't reach the landlady or the owner of the building, and water's dripping down on me from 507 to 407, and I've had ongoing problems in this building. I pay my rent on time, and I shouldn't be going through this drama.
Yeah, no, you're the man, dude. This is crazy.
Oh
Hopefully we'll get through to the governor.
And then if you could pass on to three that I need to have a meeting with Caroline Bader and David Ubone, who are Tim and Eric's secretaries, that his staff aren't treating me right. They never return my phone call. Also, Tim Heidecker had a Patreon built for me, and David Carliner was supposed to check the Patreon. He never checked the Patreon. I had to pay all my fans back the money that they sent to Absolutely Production.
What?
Yes.
Oh, wow.
So and Joey Lyon, who's not returning my phone calls, he hasn't returned my phone calls in 2 weeks, and I'm now considered a senior and an elderly person since I was born in the 50s, and this is ridiculous.
So how old are you? How old are you, Mr. David?
Huh? I was born in the 50s. I'm probably old enough to be your grandfather. I don't look my age because I don't smoke or drink or do drugs. But they're trying to kill me. Also, I'd like to put on how I've been mistreated all over California trying to get my teeth pulled. I had Medi-Cal, and I went to 20 dentists all over Los Angeles. They only gave me an x-ray, and they refused to pull my loose teeth. My mouth got affected. I finally went to a dentist, and 2 years later, a dentist's office in Downey finally pulled my 2 loose teeth and took care of me. And they took money from my Medi-Cal card and never finished my dental work.
Yep.
I
know what you
14
mean.
dentist places, and Medi-Cal needs to prosecute these people and get back in touch with these people because they're taking the Medi-Cal and they're not finishing the work.
Exactly.
And they don't even return phone calls. Everybody, even girls. I got stood up on Tinder. Oh, the water is just dripping. I got stood up on Tinder by a white, Hispanic, Asian, and African American girl, and they had me to wire them gas from Oceanside, Riverside, Long Beach, and because they said they didn't have gas money to see me. I wired them money from Western Union. Not one lady showed up. Something's wrong with women if they're not interested in a guy on Tinder or Plenty of Fish.
They just want your money.
On the other dating systems I've been going to, they should just be honest with the guy instead of play with him. And then when I tell girls I don't have money to take care of their children, they automatically hang up in my face.
Oh, man.
When I tell girls that I'm a good guy, I want to build up a caring relationship.
I don't have money to take
before
care of your children.
Get intimate with them, then they hang up on my face right away.
Wow.
And then I was told that it's very dangerous to do oral giving and receiving from a woman because a lot of guys are getting coronavirus from it. The doctor said that mouth contact, eating a girl's pussy or ass out, that people are getting coronavirus from that.
Ingrid, stop me.
Wow.
So this is real, and I'm a comedian laughing through my trials, like in the hymn, "Shepherd, show me how to go, how to feed thy sheep. I will listen for thy voice, lest my footsteps stray. I will follow and rejoice all the rugged way." I have a rugged way with water leaking from apartment 507 to 407. The landlady's not returning my phone call. We can't reach the governor. We tried to reach the city of Los Angeles, the house department. Nobody called. Camellia, the owner of the building, didn't return. Couldn't leave her a message. Couldn't leave a message at Millennium Equities. It's crazy.
Oh my God! Shit, man.
Well, you put this all on the internet. What good people go through. Good people get
exactly.
And then when I tried to call on both of my cell phones, they were blocked. You need to let Verizon know, or text them and let them know that find out the Verizon number and let them know that 213-422-4599 number's not working. And I mailed them my phone bill on time, even though all these companies lie. Verizon and AT&T said, well, you don't have to pay until after the coronavirus. They lie. I was sent a pink notice. I had to pay both of the checks right away. And, get this. Citibank, I'm a senior veteran, denied me a loan.
What?
I paid back the loan bearing my mom, my dad, and my younger sister, plus all their interest. And they during Corona-19, Citibank denied me a loan, and I'm a senior veteran. They did also, Bank of America recently denied me a loan, and they're super rich. They have no respect for the customers.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then when I had to wait, I had to sign an appeal to finally get my unemployment, and I haven't gotten my unemployment papers. It's crazy. So I put this all on the internet. What a famous actor goes through living in Los Angeles, and how nobody gives a shit.
Yeah, no,
nobody.
absolutely.
Not even Absolutely Production.
And
I made them lots of money.
And it's a struggle. And it's a struggle for. Would you classify yourself as rich, middle class, or poor actor?
Poor. I haven't worked. I bought a business license to sell my portraits at Santa Monica Pier.
Yeah. Awesome, dude.
They told me that nobody can work there as a performer because of COVID-19.
Yeah, they stopped that in San Francisco too.
I haven't worked or done anything. Also, the unemployment office said, well, we gave you unemployment in 2019. They didn't give me the complete 8 months. They only gave me 4 months. And I didn't get all my money, and I did my job search. And so I had to apply for COVID-19 this time, and I haven't gotten my paperwork in the mail.
Wow.
I filled up my paperwork for unemployment from March all the way until May. I didn't get my June stuff. No, this water it's like it's raining in here.
Yeah. Oh my God.
Wow.
And this is just folks, this is just a small example of people who still out there in the world everywhere waiting on employment, and people are still going through their struggles. And as a famous actor like Mr. David here is going through the struggles, imagine people who are not actors.
Yeah, it's terrible.
It's horrible. Wow. It's nothing to laugh at.
And let them know the Principal Foundation denied me help. Lutheran Social Services denied me help. And I donated thousands of dollars to both of those organizations. They told me at the Principal Foundation, well, we helped you out in the past. We can't help you anymore. That's what they told me during COVID-19. Don't ever call this number again. Evan Eva Scrooge is running the Principal Foundation.
Wow.
A lady from Arizona that is on the committee. Her phone number is 550, her area code is. She was very arrogant and rude to me. Here I'm a veteran, a senior, told me that the Principal Foundation could not help me again during COVID-19 and was very rude to me. And they get money from the Christian Science Church owns Smucker Jelly Company, Mott's Applesauce, and Wendy's. They were left all that money.
Wow.
And they don't and they don't want to help a senior that's a member of their church that's going through hell.
And you seem like the kind of person that like to give, from what you say,
donations. I would tell you, I've given money to the USO. I've given money to Lutheran Social Services. I've given money to the Christian Science Principal Foundation. I've given money when I was working to a lot of stuff. Now that I need money, nobody says they can help me. Now, I have to give credit where credit's due. SAG Foundation at least gave me $1,000 during COVID-19. Music Cares sent me $1,000 during COVID-19.
Right.
I did get help from them, so give them a hand. Music Cares sent me $1,000 during COVID-19.
Wow.
Give them a standing ovation. The SAG Foundation gave me $1,000 during COVID-19. Our government, who I paid millions of dollars in taxes, mailed me $1,000 to the stimulus. So I only got $3,000 from 3 organizations. Everybody else were, the water's dripping really bad.
Oh, my God.
Oh, man.
I mean, if we have to end it...
And tell them I need a lawyer. I need a lawyer to fight this. I need a lawyer that could, a liberal lawyer that could fight this, because this is ridiculous.
That's what we'll do next. We'll start calling lawyers next.
A lawyer that would take this pro bono to help me fight this, because I shouldn't have to pay rent in a place that doesn't even want to fix anything.
Yeah, that's crazy.
And then, this wall can come in, and the wall's starting to crack.
Oh my goodness! You need to make sure you take pictures of. Get your phone if you can, or if you got a little side camera, get your little side camera and start shooting photographs. Because the only way that you be able to present this in court,
I'm gonna do that right now.
is take pictures of the drip and the damage.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna go get my cell phone.
Excellent.
Yeah,
excellent.
Get your camera, take photographs. I always like to take photographs of damaged stuff if it's damaged by like failures of like companies. Supporting people living in low-income environments or middle-class or even rich environments, but then you paying a lot of money for rent, but then stuff like molds growing behind walls, drips from incomplete roofing jobs and stuff like that, and then, undiscovered mold that's affecting people's lungs and hearts and stuff like that. Yeah, this is just one of the problems in relations to everything else that's going on.
Damaged by like failures of like companies.
So yeah, he's having a problem with the drip in his house. The best suggestion.
Yeah, we're gonna figure out how we can get the best assistance to him as fast as possible.
We didn't even know it was going to turn into
Governor.
I took pictures with my phone.
Okay, good.
The crack that's starting to get bigger.
Exactly.
The crack from upstairs. I took pictures. It's just sad that people in general just don't give a shit. Don't give a care.
Wow.
And we're with COVID-19, people should be more supportive.
Yeah, absolutely.
I need to call a fan came way from Buffalo, New York, that wanted to be an intern for Tim and Eric, Ryan, and his phone calls haven't been returned.
Wow.
I'm going to call one of the fans and let them know.
That's awesome.
The phone is not working. You need to let them know something's happening with the phone. It's not working. This is strange. I've never had this problem before.
Yeah.
Do you have a?
You can. Whenever you have a cell phone, you can text and let them know that the 213-422-4599 number is not working, and could text Horizon that they need to fix my phone because it's not working at all.
Yeah. Who do you want me to text?
The customer service, and let them know that the phone number 213-422-4599 number is not working at all.
Verizon customer service?
Yeah, let them know.
I heard you tell a story once that you had gotten kicked out of some person's apartment, and you've always wished to have your own place. I don't know when you wrote.
What happened is I took care of my cousin Phyllis McKinnon on my Caucasian side.
Mm-hmm.
I took care of her for 15 years. She was a retired Army officer. I did all the plumbing, gardening, and yard work for her buildings and for her. And my family kicked me out with nowhere to go after she died. They were ice cold.
So did you finally get your own place? Because I think that was.
I've been living here ever since. A guy from the Christian Science Church paid my first and last rent back in 1992, and I've been living at the Dixboro's apartment ever since.
Wow, that's good to hear that you.
That's
got
awesome,
your own
man. I was
place.
born in 1992.
You want to try to call the I guess you're still on hold with the governor?
Yeah. It's been about a half hour. I could hang up, but we could hold and really get through to him.
Let them know what citizens are going through.
Yeah, no, this is awesome.
You ought to send them a copy of this video.
Absolutely.
And let them know that even though the governor sent me paperwork that I didn't have to pay my rent until after COVID-19, and I still have been paying it, and I've been paying rent to a building that is the plumbing is bad. Landlord and the owner of the building don't return phone calls from the lending equity. They own property all over the United States.
Lord.
And I couldn't get Camellia to return my phone. You can't even leave her a message. Why don't we try the apartment building again, phone number.
Okay.
213.
Yeah, I just hung up on the governor. It's been 1.5 hour.
A half an hour.
So, all right, so we can try that, and then we can call.
It's 213. 739. 2000. Send us to the Civil Rights Movement.
Absolutely.
Send it to the leftist organization and let them know if my dad was a civil rights leader, what I'm going through.
Like Black Lives Matter?
Yeah, let them know. Let Black Lives Matter.
Here you go, it's ringing.
It's ringing right now. Who we calling right now?
We're going to call the Zero to leave with their operator to leave a message with them to see if she.
Do you want me to try and get to Camellia again?
Why don't we try that? If we can't leave a message with, try Zero first.
Try 0. All right.
Transferring to operator.
Transferring to operator. And next I'll call Verizon and we can just give them a live on air. You can tell them what's happening.
Wow.
Yeah, see, the operator did the same thing. It just hung up on me.
You want to try Camellia's?
Hello? Oh, here you go.
Here we go. We got
Hello? Hello? Operator? Hello?
Yes.
Hello? This is David. I stay at the Dixboro's apartment that you all own. Water is leaking from 507 to 407. I can get electrocuted.
Shit, she just hung up.
And I tried to call the manager, but her phone is not working.
She just hung
I
up.
tried to call Beatrice at 213.
Hang on, I'm gonna try and call again, David. She hung up.
She hung up.
Why don't you tell her what I'm going to? Why don't you talk to her?
Okay, yeah. And while
She's an Asian woman that answers the phone.
It was, yeah, it totally was.
While he's doing that, I wanted to see. I really was admiring one of your songs.
Hold on, here we go. Hold on, I want to. It's gonna be really hard for me to hear. Here we go.
You all need to talk to her because she can hear you all much clearer.
Okay.
Yes, exactly. That's what she probably.
You need to talk to her first and tell her that I'm a famous actor.
Okay.
And that you're interviewing me, and water is leaking from 507 to 407, and we can't reach the manager.
Okay, we got you. As soon as it goes through.
She's an Asian lady that works as her secretary.
Good afternoon.
Hey, how's it going?
I'm good, sir.
Hi.
Hey, good. So, hi, I'm having an issue. I'm interviewing one of the people that stays at the Millennium Apartments right now, David Liebe Hart.
Okay.
He is having an issue with water.
Leaking water. We have an interview, and he can't call out right now. He's having a leaking apartment, 507, and leak to 407.
Here, David, can you hear him?
Hi. And I called Beatrice, and she doesn't return my phone calls. Something's the matter with her phone. I can't reach her. I can't reach Beatrice. I tried calling. I tried calling Beatrice, and nobody picks up
Here,
their
David.
phone.
David, listen. She's responding.
Did you leave a message on his voice?
I tried to call the manager, but she doesn't pick up the phone.
She asked if you left a message.
I left several messages. She doesn't pick up the phone.
I'm gonna call the building manager so they can check your unit right away.
And she told me she's not fixing anything until after COVID-19. This needs to be fixed right away.
And it's
'cause
leaking
this
on
has
his
been happening off and on. I could get electrocuted. And I'm a famous TV star and actor, and I'm being, interviewed as an actor. This isn't right. And I'm a senior, and I pay my rent on time. This is ridiculous. I could get electrocuted in this building. They need to fix the plumbing because the water is leaking from 507 to 407.
Wow.
Okay, sir.
And it's dripping down like a,
Here, hold on.
it's
She's trying to
dripping all
respond.
over me.
She's trying to respond, David. Let her respond.
I'm gonna call the building manager right now so they can check your unit.
I appreciate what you can do
Okay,
to help
sir.
me because I pay my rent on time. I've been living here since
97.
1994. I've been living here a long time, and I always pay my rent on time.
Is there any more problems besides the leaking on your apartment?
Is there any other problems, David?
Tell her that the water is in the sink. Well, when the people use the water from upstairs, it comes down to the second floor, and I have to take a bucket and take the water to the toilet. They need to fix the plumbing from
Big time.
from upstairs to downstairs. Every time they use their sink, the water fills up in my thing, and I have to take a bucket and a cup to put the water in the toilet.
Okay, sir. I'm gonna call right now.
Okay, well, and I can't. I tried to reach Camellia as well, and her number says you can't leave her a message.
Wow.
This is serious.
Yeah. So this just.
And I'm a famous television actor, and this doesn't make me look good.
Okay, sir. I'm gonna call the building manager right now.
Thank you.
We really appreciate you picking up.
And even during COVID-19, I've always paid you on time. So, I've been a good tenant. I love you all. Okay. And just pray for me if you're a Christian, and pray that I can forgive. Well, like the Bible says, I can just forgive as Jesus did. And pray for me as well.
We all got to forgive.
God bless your heart.
Bless your heart.
Okay. All right. Thank you for your support. And you have a great day.
So should there be somebody coming down to his house this evening or today to help him with his problem?
I'm sorry?
Is there going to be somebody there to deal with the issue today?
I'm going to call, sir, the building manager so they can call maintenance.
But she doesn't return phone calls. And
as I said, sir, I will call the building manager.
The building. She's going to call the building.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks for caring. God bless you. Thank you. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye. Thank
Hey,
you
David.
all for
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
It's sad.
Wow.
And it's
40 minutes
what's
later.
going through. And you need to call and let Horizon know that their phone
let's
is
call.
not working.
Let's call
And I
Verizon
think
for you right now.
45 minutes later, we finally got someone on the phone. When a senior and an elderly person in our American communities have problems, even just being on this interview, it took almost 45 minutes to an hour to get someone to attempt to solve a problem for a poor, elderly, senior person in American community. This story.
I'm African American, and my dad used to be a civil rights leader with Dr. Martin Luther King.
Wow, it's just shocking how long it took us to get on the phone to get some kind of emergency for this water drip. It's just wow.
So it's sad the way blacks are treated in America with racism and unfairness. And it's sad even the churches are so prejudiced, and you should be getting love and support from the church, and it hurts me. I'd like you all to do an interview like this with Absolutely Production.
I would love to.
How they've treated me, and and how the staff don't even return my phone calls. Wow. Clark Renkers even stood me up at Christmas time.
David, what's your phone number for Verizon Wireless?
It's 213 422 4599.
Okay, I'm working on it. I'm on the phone with them right now while you talk to Ray.
I like to hear the story of how the story you was telling that I was listening to previous about you meeting Frank Sinatra, and also my distant cousin.
Okay, well, I was busting at the Music Center and at the Hollywood Bowl. The Hollywood Bowl was shut down because of Corona-19. And it was in the 80s. Frank Sinatra stopped his Rolls Royce and says, "Where's this beautiful music coming from?" And he said, "Oh, it's you singing with the puppet." And he says, "I would like to give you a ticket and to go and see me do my last show with the Rack Pack at the competition for the Music Center. I mean, the Hollywood Bowl and the Music Center. It's Greek Theater in Hollywood. We'd like you." And so Frank Sinatra had someone pick me up in a Rolls Royce and take me to to do a show and at the Greek Theater, and I met him behind the stage, and lo and behold, there was Sammy Davis Jr. And he said, Frank Sinatra said, Here's another Sammy Davis Jr. that has a beautiful singing voice like you, and he dances real well like you. I'm going to be the only motherfucker, Sammy Davis Jr. That nigger's nothing to me. He tore up my resume and tap danced on it and gave me a middle finger and told me to get the fuck out of the Greek Theater.
What?
Yeah. And he was known for being mean to his own black people.
Yeah, and I have to tell you.
And then I had another experience with Lucille Ball.
Lucille Ball. And I have to tell you something, David.
Was the Christian Scientist.
Real fast, Dave,
and that's what happened in my family because Sammy Davis Jr. was my grandmother's second and third cousin, right? Yeah. Second and third cousin.
Why was he so mean? I like the guy.
We don't know what it is. My whole family is mean. But anyway, my whole family will shoot you in the back and stab you in the heart at the same time because that's how crazy they are. And Sammy Davis Jr. decided he's going to denounce our family, and then he became Jewish. And then it's like he didn't want to talk to any of his family members anymore after that.
Wow, that's crazy.
Well, yeah, so he's like my third cousin on my grandma's side.
Well, the Boones and the Ford and the Boones and the Fords that married in my family on my mother's side are the same way, and Ali and all of them don't want to have anything to do with me. And that's on my mother's side.
That's my family. Me and you almost have the same upbringing in a sense, except for I'm pure African American, where you're mixed.
There's no pure African American. You know the whites put the cream in the coffee when they brought our people over slaves. There's no pure African American. None. The whites put the cream in the coffee when they had all kinds of sex with our women as slaves. There's no pure blacks. I thought I was pure black. Guess what? Tim and Eric did my genealogy. They found out I had more white than them.
Wow.
Tim and Eric did. I told Tim and Eric didn't believe I was part white. I thought I was all African American. Tim and Eric did my genealogy.
Wow.
They went to Ancestry.com.
Yeah.
They did I Love David, and the white side of the family and the black side of the family wouldn't let them marry. Guess what I found out in my family?
What's that?
Apache, Blackfoot, Sumac, Indian,
Blackfoot.
Norwegian, German, Swedish, Scotch, Irish, French, Dutch, and that's my dad's side. My mother's side was from the South, was practically the same thing. German, Irish, English, Scandinavian, French, Dutch, Sumac Indian, Cherokee Indian, Blackfoot Indian. That's
Cherokee, I'm
all
Cherokee.
on my mother's side. And I thought I was a pure Nobody's pure one thing.
Right.
I'm sorry to say nobody. They'll tell you that, but they're not. You look at your family's face features, and they have European noses. They have the pure blacks that have no white blood in them from Africa. Their skin is dark, ebony black, black like a brownie. And their hair is so small and kinky. It's not wavy. It is kinky, light, tiny, fine knots.
Yeah.
You look at an African American. In fact, my dad wanted to go went with the civil rights movement to Africa, and the Africans didn't want to have anything to do with us because we looked so white and European looking. And it wasn't our fault because what happened during slavery time.
Right.
So even Sammy Davis Jr., liked white ladies a lot because he knew he was part white. And he even said that on many of his interviews. I love Sammy Davis Jr.
But he wasn't originally Jewish. Yeah.
But he broke my heart when he became so mean to me. And I liked the guy. I liked him. I liked him. I had all his records. The Candyman, My Kind of Town.
The Candyman can.
I went to his concerts. My mother loved Sammy Davis Jr. and I loved him. But he let me down when he did what he did, and it just hurt me. And I really, so I'm part Irish, and I was given the shits by Lucille Ball, and she's all Irish and German. I'll tell you what happened. Vivian Vance was a Christian Scientist. She was a member of Fifth Church of Christ Scientists in Hollywood. She left them millions of dollars, and they still sold the church to the Mosaic Church on the corner of La Brea and Hollywood. And my cousin Phyllis McKinnon was a member of that church. And my cousin Phyllis McKinnon went through to Hollywood High School with Carol Burnett. She went to Hollywood High School with Mickey Rooney. Mickey Rooney used to go to that same Christian Science church, Fifth Church of Christ Scientists in Hollywood. Wow. He left Christian Science and went to the Center of Spiritual Living, which is an offshoot of Christian Science. Now, Ernest Holmes says, we're not an offshoot. Yeah, they're an offshoot. They have practitioners just like Christian Scientists have practitioners. Ernest Holmes had a class instruction with Mary Baker Eddy. He says he has no part, that the New Thought organization has no part of Christian Science. They're all offshoots of Christian Science. Unity, Christian, Divine Science, they got a lot of ideas from Mary Baker Eddy, and they give all the credit to Quimby. Quimby didn't even believe in God. Quimby believed in mind control and healing through hypnotism. Mary Baker Eddy believed in healing through prayer and spiritual understanding, and they showed no respect to her.
Right.
And she founded Christian Science, and a lot of Lutherans will say, we're not part of the Catholic Church. The Lutheran Church is a part of the Catholic Church. Their service is identical to the Catholic Church. The only difference is they don't pray to the saints. They pray directly to God.
Wow.
And no, everybody doesn't want to give credit where they've come from. I don't know why.
Wow.
And there wouldn't have been any Catholicism if it wasn't for the Jewish synagogue. And nobody wants to say they came from their mom and dad. They just own them. It's
came
way,
from love.
It is. It's crazy.
Yeah. I wanted to ask you a question about one of your favorite shows of all times, and I think it's Bozo.
Well, I love Jackie Gleason.
Oh, Jackie Gleason. Okay.
Now, Jackie Gleason was my idol.
Wow.
And he was super talented. They did the best Jackie Gleason shows that were in color. And then the crazy Guggenheim, Frank Fontaine, was better than Art Carney. You can see he did the Muscle Mill commercials. He was a great comedian, and Jackie Gleason got jealous of Frank Fontaine and replaced him with Art Carney. And he was a crazy Guggenheim was a better comedian and actor than Jackie Gleason, but there's been a problem in the entertainment business of jealousy. And I hate to say it, Tim and Eric are jealous of me. That's why they don't hardly hire me for anything. Instead of working with me, the fans want to see me, but Tim and Eric, they exclude me from being on shows with them.
Wow.
And I said to Tim and Eric, I said, Tim Heidecker, you remind me of the Adult Swim Walt Disney. You're super talented. I never worked with you. I never knew you. He denied me.
What?
And that hurt. And then I have some of this. He has not had me on office hours once. And I agree with the same politics he agrees with.
Yeah, that's a very good point.
And it is all of these white leftist groups. They talk liberal and act Republican.
Right.
My Jonah Motion is a leftist who has booked me and done wonderful work with me. And I listen to all these leftist programs, and they don't have any African Americans speaking on it. They talk about how they love African Americans. The Democrats talk how they love, and the Democrat Party originally came from the South, and they were reborn to helping blacks out. But they were originally just as stern and mean as the Republicans. At one time, the Democrats didn't like want to include the blacks because they originally came from the South, and they were against blacks.
Right, exactly. And then they, for some reason, the roles of Democratic and Republican switch, where if it's
they switched.
Yeah, for some odd reason.
But the thing is,
a lie.
I feel that blacks and Hispanics and Asians have paid taxes and given talents just as equally as white people, and we should get equally respect. And we're not getting respect.
Right.
And I just heard recently that just over the mountains from Los Angeles, an innocent black guy that was lynched that was 23 years old.
What?
Yeah, very crazy. I can't believe it.
This happened just recently.
Oh my God, are you serious?
And then this woman that had me kicked out of a Hollywood Lutheran church for dating a white girl, Marie Swanson and Ray Hoffman, they sent me a formal letter that they didn't want for me to go to a Baptist church and never go into their church again, not even to visit. And Marie Swanson hammering a black lady in a Latino girl's car.
Oh my God!
Hammering the car.
That's why the only way to
crazy bitch. Racist bitch attacking an Hispanic woman's car, an African American car. It's right on the internet.
Wow.
All these people that talk how well they love Jesus, and many of these ministers belong to the Ku Klux Klan organization.
Jesus
Christ. And they talk
Christ.
about how they love Jesus. Jesus was black. Jesus loved everybody.
Right.
Moses married an Ethiopian woman. It's right in the Bible. God is no respecter of persons. That's what Paul says. And we don't have any good leaders in this church, in the world anymore.
Yeah.
That's why the world and the country's falling apart. We have no good leaders.
Do you feel like the church is preaching hate more than it is preaching love?
No, the churches are preaching love, but their actions are preaching hate.
Oh wow! Oh, I see.
And you see how the Baptist church. I had family members that became Baptists, the Fords and the Boones, that used to be Lutheran and used to be Catholic. And the Catholic Church, now they're Baptists, and they're very prejudiced.
Wow.
Baptists are very prejudiced. They're prejudiced against gays, prejudiced against blacks, prejudiced against interracial dating.
Don't I know that?
Walter Martin.
Yeah, you can't.
Walter Martin.
Yeah, in the
wrote a hate book called The Kingdom of the Cult, slandering Christian Science, slandering the Mormon Church, slandering the Jehovah's Witness Church, that are good churches, saying they were cults and no good, playing the Pepsi challenge with religion, and teaching hatred. And that book was printed from the Baptist Church in the South.
Yep.
And also preached hatred against Catholics.
That's one of the reasons.
It's called The Kingdom of the Cult.
Yeah.
He slandered so many wonderful spiritual leaders that founded churches. And they're teaching hatred in all the mega churches against Christian Science, against Catholicism, against the Seventh-day Adventist Church. You can get the book at any Christian bookstore. It's called The Kingdom of the Cults. And a Ku Klux Klan guy wrote the book.
Wow.
How are people going to learn to work together? When you're in the service, a chaplain is taught to love and respect all religions and all races of people.
God loves everybody too.
And the mainline churches are all mega churches.
Wow.
And they're teaching hatred against blacks. and other minorities and other people of color. And, you know, and they hate Christian Science. They wrote a horrible book called The Kingdom of the Cult, slandering Mary Baker Eddy.
Yeah.
And then they slandered Mrs. White, who made the Seventh-day Adventist Church. They slandered Joseph Smith, who made the Mormon Church. I'm going to tell you something. I'll tell you a positive experience I had with Mormons. Twice, my car broke down up in the Rocky Mountains. A Mormon white family took me in and fixed my car and paid for me to go on my way.
Wow.
A Mormon family.
Wow.
Another experience happened. I was taking the Greyhound bus up through the Rocky Mountains. For some strange reason, the Greyhound bus left me and 10 other people behind. A Mormon family took me in and made sure I got on the next bus.
Hang out with the Mormons.
Mormons are good people.
Nice.
And so are Seventh-day Adventist people. They're good people, and they've been unjustly slandered. How
What
can
the hell?
people say they're born again, saved with the Holy Spirit?
Born
know
again.
Jesus is their personal
With the
Savior.
Holy Spirit.
And they hate blacks, they hate Hispanics, and they hate Asians, and they talk about being saved. The Bible says you can't serve two masters.
You
One
can't
of
serve
these
two masters.
born-again Christians serving, and they go, oh, we're saved. We have Jesus as our personal Savior. And they're full of hate.
They're full of hate.
And I'll tell you another sad thing. The CCLI Christian Copyright Licensing uses my money and my music. CCLI Christian Copyright Licensing uses my contemporary Christian music nationally. Hillsong even uses my songs at their churches.
Well,
guess how much I got paid for having my music? 400 of my songs used through CCLI.
that is crazy.
Christian Copyright Licensing. Only $40.
What?
$40.
Oh my God! It was definitely.
It gets even better. I'm an ASCAP songwriter and publisher,
Right.
Hartman Publishing Company.
Right.
I have 40 albums on Spotify,
We gotta get some
CD
of this
Baby,
music.
Wow.
Google Play, on all of the systems. I only got $100 this year as an ASCAP songwriter and a publisher.
And speaking
And
of,
I have 45 albums.
wow.
They're
Speaking,
ripping songwriters off.
yeah, they are.
We're not getting paid what we should get paid.
Wow.
And they've been doing that, and they've been doing that shit for years to poor black people and poor people who's trying to
I'm gonna
produce.
tell you something. I'll tell you something about ASCAP. BMI was started because ASCAP would not accept African American members.
What?
Wow.
Yes. I'll tell you what happened to me just recently. I went to an ASCAP meeting just about 4 or 5 years ago.
Cheers, Dave.
And I was told I couldn't go in. The white guy said, no. I showed him my gray ASCAP card. No, you can't come in here. We only want white people coming to the ASCAP meetings. That's what I was told. Stevie Wonder is a member of ASCAP. So many black entertainers are members of ASCAP. They got 2 Hispanic and 1 white security guard to roughen me up.
What?
Threw me out of the ASCAP meeting, and he did it to 4 other black people. And the ASCAP didn't even apologize.
Wow.
And I asked they have the ASCAP meetings now in Hollywood. And I asked the people, was it their security? They said no, it was ASCAP security that did that. And I filed a police report, and I haven't heard, and I still haven't, I never got no justice nor peace.
No
Nothing
justice,
got done.
no
The
peace.
fans drove me to the police department to file charges. I never got any justice. No peace.
Wow.
And then
Wow.
this mega church called the Mosaic Church on the corner of La Brea and Hollywood, this woman contacted me, oh, you got a beautiful singing voice, you're great on the Tim and Eric show, why don't you bring your puppets and we'll let you do a puppet show for the Sunday school. I give her my phone number. 2 fat security guards come from the Mosaic Church. You're committing adultery. It's a sin to give a girl your phone number. You're going to hell. I said, I don't see where it says in the Bible that you can't give a girl your phone number. I wasn't asking her out. They beat me up and threw me across the street.
Oh my God,
Fans
yeah.
called the police. Nothing got done from the Hollywood Police Department. Nothing.
Wow. That's why you don't fuck with those white girls.
tell you what happened. At 13th Church of Christ Scientists, they said we only want one token as a member. So 13th Church of Christ Scientists at 17076 North Vermont, North Hollywood, California, right across from the post office. My music teacher told me, Judy Wade, she was too tired to do the Christmas show. Since I took piano lessons and voice lessons with her, she said, I want you to do the choir directing and the piano playing of the songs. 13th Church of Christ Scientists says we don't want colored people being musicians at the Christian Science Church.
Wow.
They physically threw me out and beat me up in front of the kids and sent me a formal letter. Christine Hoffman sent me a formal letter at the time of 13th Church of Christ Scientists and told me never to come back again. You can't say we're prejudiced. We have one token named Mrs. Wells.
Wow, and they sent you a formal letter after getting beat up.
Yeah,
Jesus
Christ.
Oh, my God.
Fifth Church that used to be on the corner of Hollywood and La Brea.
I just could imagine insult on insult.
Who came from Virginia said that he didn't want blacks coming to the Christian Science Church.
Oh, wow.
And he was a first reader. He had me, told me I couldn't even come in the reading room to read my Christian Science Bible lesson. I told this to Boston. They refused to correct the situation. I told that they have a first reader from Nigeria that's African that reads at the Christian Science Church, and I told her about the racism I faced in the Christian Science Church. She sent a letter to the mother church. I can't get the board of directors to return my phone calls at the Christian Science Church.
Wow.
And then they have this woman named Dorothy Estes let me know openly she's neo-Nazi and she hates black people.
Oh, my God. In the Christian Science community?
It's in all the churches.
In all the churches. Wow.
Holy
it's in the born-again Christian churches. It's in all the churches. All of these churches are biased and prejudiced. Yeah. They have poor leaders. And then I can't understand, gay people are prejudiced against black people. Why gay people? A white guy works at food production called me the N-word and a black asshole.
So what? So a person
he apologized afterwards, and he told me I'd never work with him again. He said he was sorry. He hasn't returned my phone call after that once.
So a person, Mr. David, so a person who's black and gay, are they in double trouble?
They are prejudiced. Even gay people are prejudiced against black people.
Wow, I didn't know that. No wonder I can't get laid.
I haven't had you won't buy try. My sister's gay, and my sister is on Tinder. My sister is on mega dates, and she tells me that as soon as she tells a white woman that she's a lesbian, they hang up in her face.
Oh no!
As soon as she tells this is mega mates, and this is supposed to be a gay dating service. I had a friend that was black. His name was Elimu. He was in Car Wash. He was a famous actor. He was my best friend. He respected my rights as a heterosexual, and he was very nice to me. And he was a black actor, and he faced racism from Megamates. All the white guys
wow! I won't go on that site.
Megamates say they only want if they find out you're black or Hispanic or Asian, they'll hang up in your face.
Why do you think that is? Because we too rough in the bag, or we too big, or we too large? The large endowments.
Pastor James Bully and Mark Rossbach are both gay, and they got upset because I was dating a white girl, and they went to the bishop and said I wouldn't leave Sonia alone. When I was dating Sonia Rude, we were the best of friends. We went out eating. We went out dating. We both had music in common. She was from South Africa. Soon as Mark Rossbach told her she'd burn in hell, she had a black man, she quit speaking to me like I was poison.
Wow.
Same thing happened with Fabian at 36 Church of Christ Science. I used to date this white girl named Fabian at the Christian Science Church at 36 Church. She liked me a lot. We went to dinner, went to movies, and they told her that it's animal magnetism for her to have a black boyfriend. That means evil in Christian Science. It's mortal mind.
Oh my God.
And then they introduced her to a white guy named Mr. Smith.
Wow.
And then when I asked her at the picnic at the 36 Church of Christ Scientists in Studio City, California, I said, Fabian, can you explain to me, did I do anything wrong? She went away crying, and then they And get this, I'm as talented and famous as I am, I can't get any Christian Science churches to hire me as a musician.
What?
36
So
Church of Christ
my question about that,
Studio City, California.
are they
and
open?
They don't want to hire a colored organist or soloist. I was
Still to this day, they're like that?
Yes.
Wow. So
nowadays
is it?
They have no shame.
Is it partially because of the UFO thing, or are they on board with the?
There are people in Christian Science that served in the military that know there's UFOs.
Well, are they public about it? Is the
Eric
Christian
Squire, who used to be my friend, he's in Flagstaff, Arizona. He's a retired Navy SEAL. He's now a Christian Science practitioner. I signed the papers for him to get into the journal.
Wow.
And he used to be a floor director for many plays. He turned against me like a wild dog and told me I had no talent, that I was worthless.
What?
And that's why I quit having him to pray for me.
Wow.
Mark Sweeney knows there's UFOs. He used to be a high-up Navy SEAL. Robert Stedeman, who is a retired Marine, all of these people are listed in the Christian Science Journal. The only one that isn't listed is Dick Kindro. But a lot of the practitioners that are males served at high ranks in the military that are Christian Science teachers and practitioners. Also,
no, that's awesome. Yeah.
Josh Niles served in the Army with my cousin Leslie Grange. Cousin Leslie Grange was a high-up Army officer in the Army, and I told him I knew him, and I told him you need all the military people need to pray together about this coronavirus. He never returned my phone call. Mark Sweeney never returned my phone call. Dick Kindro never returned my phone call. And I said, and that's saying we need to pray about this coronavirus and get something done about it.
Yeah.
And then Colonel Jan Horton didn't return my phone call. She was the Defense Department for the and she's an Army officer. And women face racism in the military, and she knows that. My cousin Phyllis McKinnon told me she was a retired Army officer, and she faced racism in the Army.
Yep.
And was mistreated in the Army, and she told me how she had ideas to help the Army out, and she was discriminated against. And then, this is really sad, this guy just recently died. His name was Richard White. He was a Christian Science and he started his own prayer group because he faced racism in the Christian Science Church. His name was Richard White. He was a famous Navy SEAL, and the Christian Science Church mistreated him so badly.
Wow.
And he was a Navy SEAL. He was white like them.
Huh.
And they mistreated him badly that he had to start his own church. He just passed on recently. I told, I got Cody, his son, to contact Mark Sweeney, who was a journalistic practitioner. Oh, you have to email me first before I contact you. Cody emailed him. I emailed him. He still was arrogant and rude, never returned my emails. And he's Christian Science like me. Same thing with Josh Niles, who's from Iowa. And then I've had the same problem with I wanted to be friends with everybody says, well, you should be friends with Val Kimmer. He's Christian Science like you, and he's a musician and a painter and artist like you, and he just lost his famous friend that died in a plane accident. What was the name of that famous sports celebrity that died?
Was it Kobe Bryant?
Kobe Bryant
just died.
Was Val Kimmer's best friend.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
And he says now that, Kobe Bryant, Val Kimmer went through a divorce, and I wanted to be his friend, and his teacher, Nathan Talbot, that's his Christian Science teacher, said you should be friends with Val Kimmer since he's been through a divorce, and he lost his friend Kobe Bryant, and he's a member of the Malibu Christian Science Church. I left my phone number for him to call me and told him I wanted to help him out. He owns a museum down the street from where I live.
Wow.
I told him, and he needed an artist, illustrator, because He did the Life of Mary Baker Eddy. He refused to return my phone call. I donated money to him to do the Life of Mary Baker Eddy. He never returned my phone calls. He didn't even part German like me. Christian Science like me. He never returned my phone calls.
So, David, what I recognize or what I'm hearing kind of is that you weren't accepted within the community that much of Christian Science, right. But you are for real a major presentation and passion for it. So
I did the Junior Christian. I'll tell you.
Yeah, the show. Yeah.
Let me finish it. My Sunday school teacher, Jim Henson. Bert Stilston, who did Kukla, Fred, and Ollie.
Right, Muppets, right?
The guy that did the Friendly Giant from Canada. They all three asked me, begged me, David, could you do a puppet show teaching kids about Christian Science? The Sunday schools are empty. The Christian Science churches are closing up all over the United States and the world.
Wow.
Wow.
They all met me at UCLA, and I agreed to do a puppet show. So I did a puppet show called the Junior Christian Science Bible Lesson Show.
Right, I have it pulled up right now.
And it ran from 1988 to 2008 when Los Angeles got rid of public access.
Wow.
The conservative Republican people hated public access because there's a lot of freedom of speech, so they discontinued public access.
Wow.
And I did the show. I was threatened by Jane Dolan and Dorothy Estes that they were going to excommunicate me from the Christian Science Church.
Why?
And I said, oh, yes. They called me up
Why?
all the time and told me we'd pay you a lot of money to quit doing it. And like Black Matters, it doesn't matter. I did the show anyway.
Wow.
And my Sunday school teacher, Ruth Elizabeth Jinks, said that I pissed her off for having an African American representing Christian Science. She was my Sunday school teacher, and she took my sister Tyra Zilberberg through class instruction. She also took my cousin Janet Grange through class instruction. My cousin Janet Grange is ashamed of the racism in the Christian Science Church.
Yeah, absolutely.
She reads her Christian Science Bible lesson at home, and she's a big lawyer in Chicago. She's retired as a lawyer in Chicago.
Wow.
But racism is so bad in our society, and it doesn't look like it's going anywhere.
Nowhere. It's always around.
And it's getting worse.
It is, though. I believe
they cover it up. They cover it up. And sweep it under. I get phone calls because my family used to be Lutheran and Quakers. My family used to be in the Lutheran and Quaker church. I'm part German, Norwegian, and Swedish. And so they say, "Oh, what happened to your family? They were Lutheran ministers. They were Quaker Friends ministers. They were deacons in the Presbyterian church. They were Presbyterian ministers. They were great leaders in the church." As if they've all become Christian Science. And then when I would visit those churches, I'd face racism in those churches. They broke me up with girlfriends. Every time I tried to date a girl, the pastors interfered. The gay pastors. I had to tell Pastor James Boleen to mind his own business because he kept on butting in my business when I was dating a girl in the church.
Wow.
It's terrible.
What is the name David Liebe Hart? I see that.
My name, my dad wanted me to have something African.
Oh,
and
nice.
So he legally had my name, middle name, and Krumah in it. Nkrumah.
That's awesome, man. Did you do the production on the show?
I produced the Junior Christian Science Bible Lesson Show.
I went back and watched everything I could.
I learned how to produce shows by doing intern work for Gary Marshall.
Oh, okay.
Gary Marshall told me how to use 3 cameras and doing a show and using special effects.
Who's Gary Marshall exactly?
Gary Marshall produced Here's Lucy, the Lucy Show.
Oh, wow.
He produced a lot of movies. He produced Laverne and Shirley.
Oh, wow.
Happy Days.
He produced Love American Style. I had a lot of respect for him, and I learned a lot from him, but he hurt me like my ex-wife hurt me when he told me that he called me a Daffy Duck and said he didn't want to help me with my career.
Wow.
What the hell?
Is that when your career ended in the sense of like TV, or was that the beginning?
So yeah, that's right around when Tim and Eric started too, right? So you got on Tim and Eric first season.
Okay.
Yes, it was. But he turned around and he said he was biased. He hired Robin Williams instead of me, and I said, well, if I did intern work, I would be hired on one of the TV shows, and it never happened. I went to Paramount Studios where they filmed Gary Marshall's shows, and did warm-ups for the shows and did intern work for the shows for 4 years. And when I found out what happened to Betty Garrett, that stuck up for me, and she was mistreated, and I got kicked out from the studios because of Gary Marshall didn't want me there anymore.
So if you wasn't dating, if you wasn't attempting to date the white women and the jealousy,
No. I've learned not to mix business with pleasure.
Okay.
When I saw what happened to me at the ELCA Lutheran Church and the Christian Science Church, I don't date women. I don't even date my fans. Fans want to date me, and I tell them I want to keep it at a professional level.
What?
Christine Reed likes me a lot. She's from Memphis, Tennessee, and she's from the South. And I told Christine Reed she controls my Patreon, and she likes me a lot. She's from the South, but she's a white lady. And I said, I don't want to mix, and you can ask her. She controls my Patreon. I don't want to date any women because I don't want to mix business with pleasure and get in trouble. I've toured all over the United States and Australia and UK, and I told women I cannot date them because of the bad experiences I've had in the churches with women. There was a woman right after I performed in South. I did 3 shows in the UK before the coronavirus started taking over. I did it Southport. I was at a big rock and roll comp. Go to my website, markbyliebehart.com. I went there and I did. They had me and Jonah Motion do 8 shows there because so many bands didn't want to come because of the coronavirus. And I performed there, and a white woman wanted to have sex with me after I performed, and I told her, she told me her name was Bitten, and she was a beautiful white woman from Bitten, and she was from Brighton, UK.
Oh, very nice.
And her name was Britain, and she was from Brighton and the UK, and she says, you're such a hot black guy, you remind me of Sammy Davis Jr., that my mother had an affair with back in the 40s, and I really like you a lot, and I want to go out with you. And I said,
funny.
You know, I've had bad experiences dating white women with the racists in the society, and I can't date you at this time because I'm on tour, and I don't date fans at this time because I've been persecuted for dating white girls, especially in church, and I just want us just to be friends. She was upset that I wouldn't have sex with her, and she walked me to I let her walk me to my apartment. And then there's a Jewish girl that lied and said I just did work with her. She dyed her hair red, and she lied and said that I respond to her ad on Tinder, and I never responded to her ad on Tinder. Then this Jewish woman, she's a fat, ugly Jewish woman. She's not my type. Then she did a blind date show with me that's going to be aired on the internet.
Tinder.
And then then she asked me for sex, and I told her I'm a gentleman. I got to set an example for my fans.
What?
I don't want to do that kind of thing because it'll make me look bad. I want to be someone that's going to keep them a positive. That's going to be a gentleman with their fans. So I told them no, I could do that. And then she got angry with me, and I told her Jonah liked her a lot. So she calls and doesn't say anything to me on the phone.
Wow.
But you can ask my fans, such as Christine Reed. I behave myself as a gentleman. Whenever I went to the UK, this woman, she recently married Eric Walheimer. She was a big fan of mine.
Oh, wow.
And she's a model, and she recently married Eric Walheimer.
Supermodel.
Every time I went to Australia, she says, I love Eric Walheimer so much. He's such a talented guy. And I told her, I gave her the contact because she would take me to some of the finest restaurants in Australia. So I gave her the contact where she could get in touch with Eric Walheimer. He didn't even invite me to his wedding.
Oh my God.
He didn't even invite Caroline Bader to his wedding. That's ice cold.
Wow.
And she's the secretary for Absolutely Production.
Where was the wedding at, in Australia?
Tim and Eric Eric Walheimer had a private wedding. He married this woman that was a fan of mine from the show, and she is a very attractive model. They're married now. If you follow Eric Walheimer's website, you can. He got married last year. I wish him the best.
Yeah. Do you feel like that your relationship with Tim and Eric, if it's not good?
I love Tim and Eric like the son I never have. I'm just heartbroken that they hardly ever use me for TV work. And I don't like it that they're shunning me and not returning my phone call. I don't like it that their staff don't return my phone call. Yes, their staff don't return my phone call. And it's heartbreaking. I'm going to tell you something. When I was working on Absolutely Production, a lot of the interns, they didn't get paid any money. And they said, well, we're living with our girlfriend. Our girlfriend's working a part-time job to pay for our apartment. We don't have any money for groceries or food. Many of these interns I gave money to and bought them groceries, and helped them out. Now they're producers for Absolutely Production, and they don't return my phone call.
And won't give you a grocery bag of nothing.
Time of the day.
Won't even give you
time of the day.
I really...
And I believe deep down inside, it hurts to have me to say this, but these whites that are young kids, they're working for Absolutely Production, they're deep down inside, they have taken on the negative bigotry from their parents.
Oh, wow.
Like one white guy who's from Florida, he said, my dad doesn't really want me to have anything to do with colored people, or my uncle, but I still like you a lot.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Yeah,
racism even is entrenched in your generation.
Right. Yeah, exactly. I was sitting in the park. The other day, just in my local area that I was living, and this old guy, you can tell he was old tweaker out, old white guy who'd done drugs in his past, and he looked completely tweaked out of his mind in his old age. And I was like twirling my stick, and then when I came out 2 days later, he was like, "Yeah, I'll show you how to twirl that stick. Back in the day, if we saw black people out past a certain dark, we would beat them up and hang them." And I'm like, what? And you gonna tell me that story?
What?
In town? That was here in town.
Today,
out here in California.
I'm going to tell you.
This was just 3 days ago.
I am 64 years old, born in the 50s, and whites
so it still
today
exists.
don't respect black people.
It still exists.
Whites today don't respect black people. There's still racism in our country.
Well, that's what.
And I'm gonna tell you what white people do. They will say they're not prejudiced, accept one black as a token in their organization, and discriminate against other people that are black. They'll say they're not prejudiced, and I've worked many jobs. I've worked at Kroger's, all grocery stores, worked at Ralph's, worked at Kentucky Fried Chicken, worked at Pizza Hut, and what they do is they'll find one token black that they'll be real kind to,
one
and the rest
token
of the
black
they'll treat like a piece of shit and be racist.
Wow.
Oh, my God.
Well,
I'm telling you, that's America.
And I hate to go,
how liberal they are.
Yeah, and I hate,
Vanilla Burnett, who put the new Christian Science hymnal together, and Susan Matt talked about, oh, we love blacks. Well, we accepted these slave songs in the hymnal. Lord, I want to be a Christian in my heart, from your colored people that were slaves.
Wow.
We accepted slave music, Amazing Grace. So you can't say we're prejudiced against blacks. And then all my hymns that you can hear on Spotify and CD Baby were rejected. Vanilla Burnett and Susan Matt said we won't have any colored people's music in the new Christian Science hymnal.
Can we hear you sing one of those hymns? If you have a short one that you can sing a cappella right now?
Sure. The man love always has met and always will meet every human need. The man love always has met and always will meet every human need. Since the all mankind of every hour, God is our supply. God is your supply. And then I put "Oh Gentle Presence." Those are words by Mary Baker Eddy put to my own gospel music. That's page 494 in Science and Health. I put, in prose works, I put Mary Baker Eddy's Mother's Evening Prayer to jazz music. Oh, heart. Nestling, faltering flight. You thou my child all upward. Wing tonight. You thou my child all upward. Wing tonight. Our love is our refuge. Only with my eye can I behold the snare, the pit, the fall. Its habitation, highest here and nigh. His arm encircles me, and my and all. His arm encircles me, my and all. Oh, make me glad for every scalding tear. Hope deferred and crafted to disdain. Oh, wait and love more for every hate and fear. No ill since God is good and lost is gain. No ill since God is good, lost is gained. Beneath the shadow of his mighty wing, secret of the narrowed way, seeking and finding with the angels sing. Oh, I am with you always, watch and pray. Oh, I am with you always, watch and pray. I know there's a flower that's all at nothing, like drops down upon the troubled breast, with heaven's after, small if teardrop gain, mother finds a home and heavenly rest, and mother finds a home, heavenly rest, heavenly rest, heavenly rest.
Dude, thank you so much. That was so awesome.
Wow. I also
Christian Science Church discriminates against me as a songwriter. And you go on their website, they only push white people's music on their website. They don't have one African American. I went to Jack Hubble's Association, and all the African Americans and Hispanics and Asians that were Christian Scientists says, how come we're denied the right to produce music from the mother church? They only want to produce white people's music.
Wow.
And they only want to have white people's music in the new Christian Science hymnal. That's not right. If they included minorities more, like I told the mother church, I'm the one who told them about having people of all different races on the Sentinel and the Journal. They would do the same thing. They would attract more people instead of making everything lily white.
Yeah, because the world is not lily white, in a sense.
No, it isn't. A flower garden is boring when you just see white flowers in it. But when you see white flowers, yellow flowers that are Asian flowers, red flowers that are black flowers, purple flowers that are Hispanic flowers, all different types of flowers, the garden looks more interesting and more pretty.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love that.
That's the way the world should be. They need to be diverse. You know, and it hurt me. A young guy your age that works for Absolutely Production, he said to me it was better, and he's gay, it was better when blacks weren't allowed to go to Cicero or go to Beverly Hills, Illinois, or Evergreen, Illinois, on the other side of the Dan Ryan Freeway, across from Whitworth. It was better when your black people stayed on the other side. He's a young guy. He's your age, and he's gay, and he doesn't like it that I'm African American.
Yeah, because they want people to stay. Everybody wants people to stay on their side of the tracks, but people don't know that tracks are not being used in America. They don't use the train system anymore. And speaking of trains,
I'll tell you what happened.
Yeah.
What happened to the trains in America? General Motors, Goodyear Tire, brought out the electric trains and the passenger trains because they wanted people to buy cars. They wanted the monopoly. They even had electric cars back in the 40s and the 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what they did. And this guy named, this is going to shock you. I don't understand this. Samuel Insull started the electric interurbans all over the country. He worked for Thomas Edison. He didn't have segregation on the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad, but the Chicago Northwestern and the Milwaukee Road did. He let blacks work as conductors and passengers eat anywhere they wanted, from the electroline or the dining car. Now get this, the Northwestern and the Hiawatha wanted blacks to sit back with the baggage. They wouldn't let them. They told them to bring on their own food.
Wow.
And now the Northwestern is owned by the Union Pacific. And Donald Trump owns that.
Whoa.
Yeah. And the Northwestern and the Sioux Line and the CSX and North Fork and Severn, they're the main big railroads all across the country, and they bought out and destroyed even the railroad L&M and the other railroads in the South, so they could be the Fresco, so they could be the monopoly. And they bought. They did. Oh my goodness! Talk about Chicago politics. The Chicago Northwestern bought stock in through the Susquehanna Company for the Chicago Roaring Elgin. He cut a deal. Now, he was tired of Chicago Roaring Elgin because they had more riders than the Northwestern, Milwaukee Road, and Burlington put together. So he said, we got to get rid of this railroad. So I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll build, Mayor Daley said, we'll build a freeway, and we'll make an ordinance that the CTA, Chicago Rapid Transit, could run in the middle of the freeway, but the interurban cars from the Roaring Elgin had to stop at Forest Park, Oak Park. So all the riders, when they found out they couldn't go all the way downtown, and they tore down the Garfield Park L that the Roaring Elgin owned to build the Congress Expressway. The Roaring Elgin lost all their riders to the Northwestern Milwaukee Road. Then, to make matters worse, the Northwestern, when they owned a lot of stock in the Roaring Elgin, and the passengers raised money to buy the Roaring Elgin. The Roaring Elgin in 1957, August 3rd of 1957, pulled and the trains and wouldn't let them run so they could get home from work because the Northwestern wanted to have the monopoly.
Wow.
That was dirty Chicago politics. And I'll tell you what happened to the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. The Northwestern bought stock in it, called the Susquehanna Company. And Mr. Mason, who was the general manager for the Chicago North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad, was paid to sabotage the North Shore and Milwaukee Railroad. He put in the Chicago Tribune and the Chicago Today that the North Shore went out for a lack of money. The North Shore put people right in on the L Loop in the downtown district, right close to their jobs. The North Shore that Samuel Insull owned, he donated the land free to Fort Sheridan, the Army base. He donated Great Lakes. He let veterans ride free to the military base. The train was patriotic. The Northwestern and Milwaukee Road wouldn't do that. And then they demised the right when the Northwestern and Milwaukee Road went on strike in 1961. The North Shore honored the tickets from the Northwestern and Milwaukee Road riders free. Everybody went back to the Northwestern and Milwaukee Road. Then the Chicago Northwestern took the North Shore out on January 21st, 1963, and said the road, go Northwestern, the only west way to go. We got rid of the North Shore and the Roaring Elgin from Chicago politics, that was their song. And they got their prosperity dirty from Chicago politics.
Chicago politics. Wow.
It happened again. My favorite clown, Monty Melvin, Dick Richard Lovett, was discriminated on the WGM Bozo show.
Bozo, I remember Bozo.
Let me tell you what happened. Wow. Cookie and Bozo and Wizzo didn't want black kids, and Ray Rayner, who did Ollie Oliver, didn't want black kids, Hispanic kids, or Asians going on the Bozo show. Well, Richard Lovett, was the floor director, and he was Jewish, and he didn't think it was fair. So when Bozo got sick, he replaced Bozo as Monty Melvin.
Yeah.
He taught the kids not to use drugs. He taught the kids to eat vegetables and fruit, things that were good for them. Well, Roy Brown, Cookie the Clown, was jealous.
What?
His name is Cookie. He talked like Red Skelton. Cookie said, I gotta get rid of this Monty Melvin. He talked like James Squall and Cookie the Clown. And girls, you don't want to take
I want to talk about James Squall, too.
Me, not a bite out of crime. I'm a big fat cookie. Roy Brown the Clown. He was the puppeteer on the Garfield Goose Show.
That's a very good qual.
Monty Melvin. And I'll tell you what they did.
What did they do?
Ringmaster Mr. Ned said only one, after Bozo came back from having a heart attack and brain surgery, we can only have one clown on the show.
One clown?
That's the Monty Melvin or Cookie to be with Ollie Oliver and Bozo. So what they did, they said, we're going to have the kids vote on. They did show this on TV, Chicago Politics.
Oh, wow.
So Cookie and Bozo and Ray Rayner played Ollie Oliver the Clown, bribed the kids to vote for Cookie. They gave Cookie the Clown, they told if you vote for Cookie, you'll get a Cookie. Bicycle.
You get a cookie.
If you vote for Cookie, you'll get $20 bills. That was a lot of money in 1968.
Oh, wow. And everybody voted on Cookie.
So everybody, they said, Bozo says, if you get booed off the stage, Monty Melvin, Richard Dick Lovett, you will never be on the Bozo show again, and you have to walk with a teddy bear off the show with an onion in your eye, crying. Oh,
with the onion in your eye. I love that.
This is a white guy, white like them, because he let black kids go on the Bozo show, or the WGM Bozo show.
With the onion
so turn on us real quick.
With the onion in your eye.
And you know, he's the only cast member that's still living from the Bozo show.
How old is that guy?
Everybody else is dead.
Wow. How old is that guy from the how can we get in touch with him?
I'm trying to get in touch with him. Richard Dick Lovett. He called me once, but he was shy and he hung up in my face.
Richard Dick Loving.
Lovett. I have pictures.
Lovett.
I had one picture put up. My fans had put up several pictures of him.
Nice.
They took everything down. The guy who runs the archives for WGM, he purposely was paid a lot of money from Roy Brown and Cookie the Clown and Bozo to take down all the videos and pictures of Monty Melvin. Purposely. The only way you can see pictures of
Wow, see, I wanted to ask you about that, yeah.
Go to the Chicago Museum of Television and Radio.
So why did they do that?
Racism. They were mad because he helped black people out.
Because he wanted children.
Holy shit!
He wanted children to come. He wanted black children and interracial children to come on the clown show.
And Cookie didn't want it.
And he didn't want it. Yeah.
Cookie. You see thousands of.
I gotta use the bathroom.
You see thousands of videos of Cookie.
I'll be right back. I'm gonna use.
Cool. That's fine.
Okay.
Someone's calling. Can I put you on hold?
Yeah. You can put me on hold. Absolutely, no worries. Yeah. Wow.
This man Andy Nyman to tell you about the Junior Christian Science.
Oh, this is exactly what we were watching before.
In 1996. It's in forever.
Yeah, I don't like this guy's opinion. He sucks. So because like literally David's work in the 90s, this stuff is amazing. And I wanted to ask him about Qual. I wanted to ask him about all this stuff. Like James Qual is hilarious to me.
Hi, Adam. Got the next song comes out Unexpected Jesus. Let's start with the music.
Lorraine don't want me to watch porn anymore because I really love that song.
At the end, we'll ask him to end it like that. I have a couple songs to cover before we go into the song, so you might want to sing with us for a minute.
Yeah, I think let me sing in between it.
Yeah, it's been very fun. It's been awesome. It's an amazing interview.
Crazy.
Comes our long expected Jesus, born to set thy people free from our fear and to release us. Let us find.
It's a rock opera, though. It's not just Jesus-y. It's a rock opera. He made it amazing. James Paul, thank you so much, James Paul.
Now, like riches, kingdom bring.
Well, this is like.
Spirit, rule all our heart down.
This is the best interview ever.
Huh? Oh, okay. He's probably talking on the phone relating to his the drip. Yeah, I know, right? That's why I was trying to take it to like a different direction so it doesn't get like mentally disturbed by that, you know?
Actually, you might want to express yourself. It's amazing.
Mind blowing.
Jesus Christ will endure. There is and more to it all. Come the long expected.
Hello? Oh, hello.
Jesus born to set thy people free.
Alright, yeah, I'm gonna move forward to
Let's be still and know that He is God. Let's pray God's going to bless the
I wish you could play that song.
Our Father, which art in heaven.
Our Father, Mother God, our home.
What song?
Lorraine don't want him to watch porn anymore.
I don't know if it might be.
Laurent doesn't want me to look at porn. I love that one. I heard that one earlier, and I thought it was a very awesome song.
Thank you so much,
very
Rage
funny,
Madness.
and I would wanted him to. Lorraine Rent don't want him to look at porn. And that should bring a little entertainment to our ears.
What inspired me to write the song where it doesn't want me to look at porn?
This is an awesome
I met
song.
this alien about 6 years ago when I was doing Christmas decorations first in Redlands, California. He revealed to me that he was a Carindian and he was telepathic and that he could read what I was thinking, and he saw that I had a lot of lust in my mind toward wanting to be intimate with women, and he told me that was wrong. And he told me that my thoughts and action on a more spiritual level, on valuing
The
women in a
alien
spiritual
told him it was
way
wrong.
and not think about lust or sex. And what came out of it is this, writing this song. Robert doesn't want me to look at porn. And then when I saw him again, and when he moved to Chino, California, he telepathically pulled out of me that he didn't want me thinking of lusting at women for sex, and it inspired me to get this song.
Wow.
And write this song. And that's what inspired me about the song.
Listen to this for a second, folks.
Oh, it hung up, so I'm gonna call him back.
You can
All
still
right,
play
so
that
they-
while we.
No, no, we won't be able to hear him.
Oh. Oh. Don't anymore.
Hello?
Hey, did it work out?
Yeah, well, the landlady's here checking the plumbing. It was
Okay.
leaking from down here, and it got all of me when I had the interview.
You want me to call back in a few minutes?
We'll call back.
Well, I'm letting you know it did leak. Hello? Call me back for the TV interview.
Sweet, I'll call you back in a few minutes.
Thanks for watching that
All
more
right,
video
yeah,
because I
there
really
we
like
go.
this video.
Nice, we actually accomplished it, dude. We got it, we did it. We got his landlord to go to there. That's awesome. To his room. Badass. Sorry.
Yes, that was one of my favorite ones that I looked up previously when I was studying who this wonderful artistic character, David Liebe Hart, amazing person, amazing artist. It gets my heart pumping because the energies are so amazing, all the stuff. Let's see another video.
Yep.
Yeah, we can watch a couple videos by him. This is awesome. His music is well-rounded, and it's so awesome how he uses opera rock style to produce like really good music. Listen to this, folks.
So this is one that he was talking about actually being, I believe, being two aliens, but I don't know. I don't want to. I don't want to pull up anything. Yeah, this is all copyrighted, so I can't.
Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, so you can't do any of the
Not any of it, but I could do some of it.
Okay. Well, do what you can because his music is just well-rounded. Whatever we can play on here without getting infringing on any privacy relating to music. I don't want to do that.
Thank you so much.
And gives me perspective on how to like maybe create my next piece.
Very
she
nice.
don't love me anymore. She left me on the doorstep with a broken heart indeed, and I had to make another step. I'm not dead yet. I'm not dead yet, but I'm living.
Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah, no, this is an amazing interview. It's been an amazing
Wow,
time.
It's not even over yet. How long we been ticking and talking and talking and ticking?
Thank you for a while.
Wow.
2.5 hours.
2.5 hours. This is like the most exciting, second most exciting interview.
It's the most in-depth interview
one.
with Liebe Hart on the internet.
So
now.
many different,
Straight up.
so many different directions, and why this guy is a creative artist because he's been inspired to create art from a lot of crazy, negative, racist stuff in his life, but he's still able to, in a sense, build those barriers, those walls around him to still become a good artist and a good creator instead of being destructive. This guy used destructions in a positive way.
All right, let's see what he's got. Out on the Town with Liebe Hart, episode 1. Maybe this will work.
Out on the Town with David Liebe Hart. Out on the Town with David Liebe Hart.
There we go.
Hi, this is David Liebe Hart. I'm at a famous place where Robin Williams used to go to church with me when he came in the 70s. This used to be Fifth Church of Christ Scientists. Ginger Rogers used to go here. Ricky Rooney used to go here before he was converted to religious science, and Vivian Vance used to come to this church. This church was sold to a real estate investors, and they rented the church out to the Mosaic Church. Now Fifth Church still exists, but they're a small storefront. They're down the street on 6 near La Brea. Fifth Church is now the Mosaic Born Again Christian Church.
Born again.
But the real estate owners are going to tear it down and build apartment buildings here. What a sad day to see the church torn to the ground. I love Fifth Church. I went here at the 8 o'clock services. I love Fifth Church of Christ Scientists. I went there at the
Thank you so much, David.
Services. I remember when the church was filled with thousands of people coming. I remember when Doris Day and Gene Stapleton and all the famous stars came here. Fifth Church, I miss you. You're reincarnated as the Mosaic Church.
Can you tell a joke about Fifth Church?
Well, Fifth Church means, I was Hispanic. I was Hispanico. It's my favorite Fifth Church. It's the big number 5. It's a mucho gracias. And when I think of Fifth Church, I think of payday when I make lots of dinero, amigo.
Wow.
Thank you so much, David.
David. Liebe Hart. Wow. Is this a video? Is this music video? Because I want to like dance or something.
Well, I want to thank you so much.
I'm out of town with David Liebe Hart.
It's almost time to call him back.
He's such a sassy comedian artist. I'm going out with David Liebe Hart. Wow, this is I still gotta, I want him to sing some songs. I want him.
We're gonna close out with. Well, I don't want to overwhelm him and then make him tired. I want to talk. I want to get some real, some
in-depth questions.
Yeah,
what kind of questions you got set up for him?
I wanted to ask him about the aliens, and I wanted to work into it though because of the amount of awesome stuff that he, It's like this stuff is.
I thought he got into the whole scoop of telling about the whole alien story.
No, he started to, and I was like, hold on, let's not go there yet. But I fucked up because we started talking about all kinds of other stuff that I didn't realize. But he's a trove of information, so I'm going to tell him that at first.
Wow.
Yeah, wow.
And I kind of wanted to go to like the fun aspects of this guy to show like live on We Live how funny this guy is. If we could get him to do a little comedy for a minute and bring some laughter to like We Live for a second. And if you want to bring those questions, and also we get him into like seeing if he can do maybe like a 1 minute, 2 minute stand up comedy something, so we can just sit back and burst our asses laughing at this guy. Hopefully we can get that in. Hopefully we can get that in. I want to get at least 2 minutes of good comedy from this guy. It will be so funny. Because this stuff
I think
is really
we definitely get some comedy in there.
Okay.
We'll ask him.
Yeah.
We're going to go back right after this. We're going to call him
But
back.
make sure you get ready to ask your important questions in case he wants to close up too. Because it's been a long, Maybe we can get hopefully 30 minutes.
The audio's awful on this,
Okay.
All right, so I'm just going to try and call him back. It's been about 10
We're going
minutes.
to try to call him back. Like we said, he had an emergency water drip that was coming from 507 apartment number to 407. We reached out to several people in 45 minutes to an hour attempting to rescue this guy. How many miles? He's like 1,000 miles from us.
I mean, he's in L.A.
And he's in L.A. How many miles is that? 500 miles?
800,
600,
like
700, 800 miles from here. We did what we could while we was having this We Live interview. Very strange to me so far.
Very strange interview. Amazing interview.
Amazingly strange interview. But we love this guy. David?
Hello.
Hey.
Guess what? I'm back on the East Indian people are lying and saying they're the unemployment office. Wanting my Social Security number. I said, you must already have my Social Security number since I've applied for unemployment. They're trying to, these scammers are now trying to scam people from their unemployment.
Wow. Yeah, that's especially on the internet, especially when you start logging your information on internet for government information and benefits. Your information is spread amongst people. I'm getting so many phone calls and emails for attempting to apply for jobs while unemployment.
I'm going to tell you what happened to me, which is they won't, Horizon, AT&T, they all hire these people from India, and they're crooks. and they've been in and out of prison and jail, and they give them, they let them, and many of them you have to speak to 5 or 6 times.
There we go. That's the comedy.
And it's crazy.
Oh, man.
And I just, since you work for the unemployment office, you must have my work. He says, well, I need to get your unemployment card. You said you must already have it since you said you're the unemployment office.
Yeah, don't
he
do
says,
it.
I said, something's very fishy. And I'm not going to give you that information because you're trying to con me. And he says, fuck you in India. Fuck you in India. Fuck you in India. I'm going to get you, gingerbread black man. I'm going to get you worse than the white man. And I'm an Indian.
Wow.
I'm going to make
Monty of these Americans.
He says, we East Indian communists are going to hit you worse than the coronavirus, you asshole. I'm Indian. I said, well, you're not going to get shit from me. You're wasting your time. I said, goodbye.
Yeah.
And the government's not doing anything to stop these people that are conning people out of money.
Right, and they call it what they do.
You know the East Indians have a website identical to AT&T, Verizon, and T-Mobile. They won't do anything to stop them.
Right. Wow.
They won't do anything to stop them.
Right. So,
and now they're the worstest drag queen. They're the worstest drag queen of con artists. Now they're trying to say they're the unemployment office. And I said, you must already have my information.
I was reading somewhere that you love lesbians like Ellen DeGeneres and Wanda. You fell in love with Wanda, but like
I love Wanda Page. I had a crush on her, and she was from the South. Even though she was a lesbian, I thought she was cute. I wrote a song. I'm in love with Wanda Page.
Can you sing it?
Well, wait, hold on 1 second. What happened with the drip? What happened with the? What happened with the landlord? She came over because we called.
She called. She came over and she said, "Well, I don't feel any drips. I don't see anything wet." That's what she said. And I said, "No, it dripped. I wouldn't call if there was a problem."
Oh my God! Are you
2 hours later?
She says, "Are you drunk?" I said, "I'm a Christian Scientist. I don't smoke anything." You can go in my refrigerator. There's no beer in my refrigerator. I don't smoke weed. I don't do anything. And now I can't even have. They're against me dating women, so the only thing I get to date is my 5 fingers. That's the only thing I date is my 5 fingers.
5-finger discount.
That's 1994. The conservative Republican people won't let me date a white girl. They take all my girls away from me.
Wow.
It's crazy.
Wow.
You know, I'm having a weird situation. Guess who seemed to like me a lot? Another group.
Who's that?
This is weird. I've had a lot of tweaks come up on the street and said, "You're cute, you're handsome." I said, "Well, we can only go fishing together or shake your hand, and we can only be friends. I just don't want to get accused of taking advantage of a person younger than me. I'll be your dad. We'll go fishing together. I'll take you to church with me and give you a handshake, but that's all you're going to get from me." He says, "Well," he bended over and says, "Well, I'm 21. I'm a ripe age. You want to try some of this booty? It's better than what you got from a girl." I said, "I don't want to get in trouble for sexual harassment. I love you as a son I never had, but it's never going to be sex between us. I'll give you a handshake and a hug like a son I never had. That's how far it's going to go." "Well, you're a risk older man. Turn down a twig. You don't know tricks are sweet. You ought to try them. But that's better than that pussy your wife gave you." No.
Just send him my way.
I'm not going to be accused of being a child molester.
Oh no! Don't send him my way. Oh no, God! Don't send him.
No.
Oh my God! Oh, I thought
is there a lot of that in L.A.?
People, big time.
Jesus Christ! What?
Is there a lot of
people that you got trannies that have had their penis cut off and have put on vaginas and had their
oh my God!
And had breasts cut off from dead people. You got trannies that you can tell by their legs and their hands they're still men. They're imitation girls, like imitated
baloney.
soda.
Imitated baloney.
Imitated soda doesn't taste good. You got to get the natural soda.
Yeah.
The real fruit and the real juice.
Wow.
Yeah, you're right.
But these trends.
I'm not prejudiced against gays. Each his own. I love all people equally.
Yeah.
Being black and facing racism, I love homosexuals. They're super talented. I love Little Richard. I cried when he died.
Yeah.
Michael
Michael Jackson.
Richard told me that he tried to get on Happy Days and Laverne and Shirley, and Gary Marshall discriminated against him. And he lived in those days and did music in the 50s.
Tutti Frutti. Old Rudy.
Yeah, old Rudy Tootie got denied from Gary Marshall.
Well, that's when they came up with like Sanford and Son. Remember Sanford and Son, Brad Fox, and what was his name?
Well, my cousin Linda Hamilton played on Sanford and Son as Red Fox's girlfriend.
Oh,
her name was Linda
Donna.
Hamilton. She was my mother's first cousin. She was from Chicago Heights, Illinois.
Yeah.
She tried to get me into the Church of Religious Science, but I told her I was into Christian Science. But,
That sounds like
we
the same
friends.
to me. Yeah, sounds similar to me.
Huh?
It's that religion's.
You know who had a crush on me and she died?
Who's that?
When my cousin Linda Hamilton took me on the Walton set, the woman, a kind of liking for me, was that woman called Clarabelle, who played owning the grocery store. And she said she wrote novels and she wrote books. And she's from the South. She said, "Baby boy, you're cute little stinker. I just broke up with my believe in sex out of marriage. I'm a prude. I'm going to be worse than prude juices to you.
Prude
And
juice.
she was from the South.
Yeah, oh my God.
Her name was Clara Bell.
Yeah, prude
She
juice.
played the
Creamy
actress that owned the grocery stores on the Waltons.
Wow.
And she looked very attractive. She looked like a vanilla version of Nat King Cole. She was very pretty. She died in her 80s. She had a little gray in her, and she was on the Waltons practically every season.
Yeah.
And she was very attractive.
Yeah.
But she told me she's a prude. She's
I'm
been
a prude.
divorced 3 or 4 times.
Wow.
She just
3 or
didn't
4
believe
times?
in having sex with a young boy or sex at all. She didn't believe in sex out of marriage. She was a prude.
Yeah. You said one time. Yeah.
She said, I don't care how much you turn me on. I ain't going to have sex with no colored dad.
Wow. You said
And
once.
she crossed her legs like that.
Yeah.
And you know,
Wow.
Georgia Ingalls did me the same way. Georgia Ingalls. She talked like Mrs. Billy Mouse. Georgia Ingalls played on the Mary Tyler Moore show. But she died of crude. Georgia Ingalls, I said, went out with her in the 70s, and she kicked me in, and she was an actress on the Mary Tyler Moore show, and she kicked me in the balls and said, "There's not going to be any sex. No desserts for you. No ass for me.
Oh my
I'm
God.
Georgia Ingalls, and I don't believe in sex out of marriage. I'm a prude. I'm not rude. I'm a prude." That's what she used to tell me. And one day we were out. She'd always wanted to go to Christian Science lectures. And one time I went to put my arm around her, and she elbowed me so hard in the ribs. And I said, "What does no mean?" No means no. And so this old guy named Everett Seegers, who was a Christian Science practitioner, he said, "Georgia Ingalls, you got to stay away from those colored people. They're bad news. You don't want to have those mixed babies. Nobody will like them." He said, "Everett Seegers, I'm a journalistic Christian Science practitioner. I used to do the voice for Simon Says on the Underdog show. And my name is Everett Seegers. And I don't want you, Georgia Ingalls, having anything to do with that colored guy named David Liebe Hart.
Damn.
If you do, the family will disown you, and I will stop praying for you. I'm Everett Seegers. I used to do the voice for Underdog. I used to say, Simon Says, don't date colored people. I'm Simon Says from the Underdog show. Simon Says,
Wow.
stop the coronavirus, but keep the racism going on from Underdog, Simon Says. And I'm telling you, David, stay away from all white women.
Stay away from white women.
I'm Everett Seegers. Don't you forget me.
Do you ever written a song that was relating?
Impersonation is very good.
Yeah. You ever written a song? Do you have a song that was written relating to racism that you like to sing?
Big time. I did an album called Monsters. I talked about the devil being in the church. You read my album on Spotify, The Devil's in the Church. I did The Devil's in 13th Church. I did a whole album against racism, how I was mistreated. And then this guy named Larry Pletcher, when I went to Ventures Unlimited,
Devil in the
this
Church.
guy named Larry Pletcher hated black kids. And he would take these mushrooms called the Aristorians, and he would blow them all at the Hispanic and black kids. And it's worse than poison ivy. And I wrote a song about it called Poison Mushrooms. It's on my Monsters album.
What?
Larry Pletcher, he threw toadstools on people that were poisoned and made you itch all the time.
Oh
He put
my
them in your
God.
bed. He said, mushrooms! Boom! He shot 2 mushrooms that fit perfect in my eye.
Were they tripping mushrooms too, or just poisonous?
These mushrooms, I didn't know that you could smoke them, because I never, being in Christian Science, I didn't smoke or drink. But this guy named Larry Pletcher at Ventures Unlimited, he would throw toadstools on people. Look at them, the Aristorians and Aristoductes. The red cap mushrooms, they look really spooky and weird. And if you ever get in your skin or thrown on your clothes, you can't stop itching.
I'm itching thinking about it right now.
Wow.
If you want to look them up on your phone,
Yeah,
red cap mushrooms. mushrooms.
Would you?
Various historians.
Yeah. Would you like to do one of those songs relating to the devil in the church? Would you like to sing it right now, Devil in the Church?
Okay. What would you like to hear? The Devil's at 13th Church?
Yes, that one you was talking about. Yes, the one you were talking about.
The Devil's at 13th Church. The Devil's at 13th Church. They kicked me out because I was black. The Devil's at 13th Church. I'm quite scientists. They say they're not racist. They have Mrs. Wells as a token. They say they love all people equally. They say all colored people have a behavior problem when it's really in them. The Devil's at 13th Church. The Devil's at 13th Church of Christ Scientists. Kevin, he kicked Angelina out of the church because she wanted to buy an Hispanic Bible. He got away with it because he's white. The devil said that wasn't right. The devil's at 13th Church. The devil's at 13th Church of Christ Scientists.
Whoa! Wow! Wow! That almost made the devil come out of me for a second when you were singing like that.
Well, I did a rock album. And then I did a song about poison mushrooms.
Yeah.
You can play, once you play one of the albums with the music, look up Poison Mushrooms.
Poison Mushrooms.
And that's the song I wrote about being mistreated when I was going to camp at the Christian Science Church.
Wow.
Look up Poison Mushrooms.
Do you know?
Album, The Monsters.
Do you know where they're available to listen to?
You have to buy them directly from me. They've been taken out of print.
Okay, so I would love to buy it, but yeah, I will look. We'll look those up.
My address is 3918. Get a pencil.
Okay, got it. Hold up. 30.
A copy.
Excellent.
I have plenty of copies. I have 4 copies left.
Excellent.
39.
You pay for the postage.
Oh, thank you so much.
What's that?
David.
3918.
You just my address is 3918 Beverly Boulevard. You have a pencil? Apartment 407.
But Beverly Boulevard. Hold up. Let me hold.
3918 Beverly Boulevard, Los Angeles, California, 90004, apartment 407.
904, apartment number 7.
Yeah, 407. And the songs are about what I went through with racism. And then I wrote a song about Dark Shadows on there, about I had a crush on all the women on Dark Shadows. They had the most beautiful white women on an old show called Dark Shadows.
I remember that show.
With such a beautiful white rose.
There's a new
I normally don't go for jolly old English British women, but
jolly old
Maggie
English.
Evans, ooh, she was hot.
You like the English?
She was so attractive. I mean, all the women on Dark Shadows were breathtaking and beautiful.
Yeah, they were models, like models.
They were like models. They were beautiful. Oh, you've seen the show before?
I remember watching some old episodes because I just turned 51, so I'm a little bit older than Frank here.
It came on when I was growing up in the 50s. The show started in 1966 in color, and then it went to
I remember seeing it in the 70s.
Correction, in black and white
80s.
in color, and then it went to color in 1967. And it was on at 3 o'clock, called Dark Shadows, and they would go to the 1800s. They go to the 1500s. They go to the 1500s, and then they go back to the 70s. And they had vampires on there. They had warlocks on there.
Aliens.
People would always come back from the dead on there.
Yeah, zombies.
And different characters.
Yeah, I
you
remember
need to
that.
get the original Dark Shadows, not the remake.
Yeah, I see on here they did remake it.
Yeah,
though.
they
We're looking at
remade
pictures
it.
right
Yeah,
now.
because they remade
The
it.
remake is horrible. You've got to get the original Dark Shadow.
Yeah, exactly. The original Dark Shadow, because I remember watching some of that in the 70s and 80s, because I was in my teens in the 70s and 80s, so I remember starting to watch Dark Shadows once I was at the age where I could accept.
Was it Angelique Hart, that blonde girl on there with blue eyes?
Yeah, there she is right there at the bottom. She's beautiful, yeah.
Ooh, and then Maggie Evans.
The dark-haired
And then back then, the women didn't wear any bloomers or bras.
What?
And you saw it all. They had these high-up shoots, miniskirts.
Wow.
And back then, in the early 70s, they wore miniskirts. You could see it all hang out.
And as a black man, you better not be caught looking at no white woman, right?
They kick your ass, man. Those you Negro, you gotta stay with your own motherfucker. Yeah, you wanna mix your chocolate milk with vanilla white girls, man. That's a shame. You gonna get your dick cut off by these
What?
These crackers are gonna make these crackers are gonna.
I like
you put these white girls crackers in your soup, man.
Yeah.
Cut your dick off, man.
Yeah, I like my.
You eat your balls. They're gonna lynch you 'cause you could.
I like my white milk with my
Holy
chocolate.
shit.
I like my white milk with my chocolate chip cookie.
We ain't gonna do it, but we white KKK don't allow it.
Oh.
We neo-Nazis don't want blacks with whites. We want segregation.
Segregation.
They're meanies. We're meanies. Tweenies, meanies.
Wow.
Yeah, they're mean. I grew up with racism all my life. Yeah.
And it's not gonna. And it's not gonna. And it's not gonna. And it's not gonna
You
go.
do well. You do
Yeah,
really
I mean,
make
you
it
make
good.
fun.
You made it hilarious.
And it's not gonna go away anytime soon, is it?
No.
I mean, I think the thing
White
is,
people love their racism toward black people.
A lot of-
they like it like a cat likes, like a dog likes chasing a cat. It's not a dog's not going to stop chasing a cat.
Yeah.
They love that.
Wow.
I mean, I think around like in the South and stuff, and
I was so shocked. I saw a lady that kicked me out of Hollywood Lutheran Church. Told me to go to an all-black church, and told me to she told me to stick to the Christian, to a Baptist church, and she gave me when the ELCA Lutheran Church had separate churches for colored people. The Christian Science Church, get an old Christian Science journal and look at the journals from 1955 and 40s. They had separate churches for black people, and they are still prejudiced, even though they have a first reader that's from Nigeria reading at the Christian Science Church. They don't want to give it up. They love their racism like a alcoholic likes his beer. They love it. And my grandmother Schroeder would say, it's a scandalous and a shame that they don't like colored people. It's a scandalous and a shame. That's what my grandmother Schroeder would say. It's a scandalous and a shame. And she was from the South. So it's one of those things.
And you grew up down south, right?
No, my mom's side was from the South.
Oh, okay.
My dad's side was from Pennsylvania.
Okay.
Oh, wow. Okay.
See, I grew up down south.
My mother's side was from the South.
Okay.
The Rex Singers, they made the blacks change their name to King because it means the same as Rex Singer. But they wanted blacks to be disassociated with the whites. So they started calling the black side of my family King instead of, and the white side of the family was still called Rex Singer.
Wow.
Rex means king. They were very racist. We did keep the name Harmon, Schroeder, Brandt in the family, and then we had English since the family was part English, Boone, and Ford. And then we had French names, Pierre and Ferrier and Lamar that married in the family. And then the McKinnons that married in my family was Irish aristocracy, the Scottish aristocracy, the Rex Singer, and the Kaisers that married in my family was German aristocracy and Brandt. And anyway, I have just as much aristocracy as President Obama does before.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
And they still don't like me, and I am half of what they are.
Crazy.
And then I couldn't understand why the people that were the meanest to me were Norwegian and Swedish people, and I have their blood in me too. Because when Tim and Eric did my genealogy, they said, well, this is the bet we have. If we find out that you don't have a drop of black blood in you, we will never speak to you or have anything to do with you. But if we find out, and we won't produce the I Love David show.
What?
So,
who said that?
I'm telling you, they are slightly prejudiced too.
Who said that?
He won't let me on. He only has white people on his show, office hours. I begged him to be on his show. I begged Doug Pound to be on the show. Guess what? Doug Pound comes from Illinois like I do.
I don't
Doug
know office
Pound.
hours.
Yeah.
He's from down in Illinois. I'm from Chicago, Illinois.
Yeah.
And he reminds me of Tom Slick from the show that what was that show? George of the Jungle. Tom Slick that drove the racing cars. He was just like him. But I can't get him to let me be on a show. And he talks about Bozo. and I know a lot about Bozo's show, and I have a lot about Bozo's show. I know a lot about Chicago, but he won't let me be on his show. It's one of those things.
With all the information that you have, I feel like you could do your own podcast, David, and I feel like it would stand out.
Jonah was doing my broadcast for a while, and he quit doing it. I thought the broadcast with David. Go to my website, artbyliebehart.com. You can see it.
Right. Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, I think
anyway, just put it all up and just see if someone can send me donations. I am facing a hard time with Corona-19.
Yeah.
And I would like to date. You put up that I want to date a slender, good-looking white girl that doesn't have any racial hang-ups against black men. Now, my attractive one. I don't want this ugly Jewish lady that lied that she knew me from Tinder, and I never met her in my life. And then she disrupted my show at the and Southport. And then when I looked to do a TV show of a blind date, they picked her. And she said, "Well, I want to give you a tongue kiss, but then I'll lie and say you made me pregnant, so you can take care of my babies I had from 3 other black men." I said, "No, thank you. We're not having any sex." You're not going to get any free money off of me. It ain't happening. I don't date my fans. But anyway, it's really weird what I've been going through.
I would really love to.
I would like you to email, all of you to email Tim and Eric. Why don't you, Joy Lyon, Clark Rankers, why don't you show any respect toward David and return his phone calls?
Yeah.
And then I'd like you to write and say, Tim and Eric, this is personally, call up to office hours. You talk about how liberal you like blacks so much, and you're a leftist, and you want and you're against Trump. How come you don't have any blacks on office hours?
Wow.
You know, you put him on the spot, Tim Heidecker.
Oh my God.
How liberal he is. He hasn't had one black on his show.
Is that his
office hours? It's been Lily White.
I don't think I've seen it. Have I seen that?
I mean,
and he's doing the shows from his house. Tim, run him.
He's the director.
Yeah.
He's
No,
the
absolutely,
director.
yeah.
He's the director and the producer of all
it's
these.
a podcast that he does.
Oh, his
so,
podcast. Oh.
Yeah.
And then asked him how come David wasn't on Beef House.
Yeah.
And how come David wasn't on Beef House? How come David wasn't on
Well, there's already one black guy on Beef House. There's one.
That's what they did. They did that purposely. They promised that job to me, and they gave it to Ron Oster.
Oh, yeah, because they had one black guy.
Someone's calling me. Let me see who's calling me.
Okay. Whew, this has been a very,
I just
very
call.
Deep. I'm gonna ask
to
him.
Say, I love you.
I'm gonna ask him about a part 2 coming up, and we'll cover all the UFO stuff. And
I just call to say how much I care. Yes, I do. I just call.
Hello?
Hey.
My fans that are driving me around. The fans came way from Buffalo, New York to tell me anymore. And they're telling me it's
oh, David, you're breaking up a little bit. Okay, cool. Yeah, sounds good. He said he'll be right back. He's just gonna get the door. Okay, cool. Yeah, the phone is breaking up a little bit, but we'll wait on this end for you.
Back to my. I just.
Yeah, sorry. I just didn't want him to hang up.
I love you. Wow. I can't wait to hear him say, Laurent don't want me to look at porn anymore. I kind of wanted to hear that song because I think it's an opera kind of song, and I wonder if he can do it a cappella because his vocals are just incredible. And he is a master at everything this guy does. I wonder why they won't, again, put him in the movies.
Hey, hello. David, your phone's breaking up a little bit. Are you far away from the phone or something? Can I try and hang up and call you back in a second? It's making a noise. Here, I'm just going to hang up real quick and call you right back. It's just making a weird noise.
Yeah, I can't stand that noise in my ears right now. It's kind of...
Yeah, I don't know what happened.
Yeah, that's all right. Give us a minute.
There we go. Yeah, it's not making the noise now.
Well, haven't picked up yet.
That's true.
Hello?
Hey, all right, now it sounds great.
Well, anyway, I'm having a lot. They have to film me, so won't you call me back tonight and finish the interview?
Oh, that sounds great, David. Thank you so much. This is awesome.
You're welcome. Thank you
Awesome.
for helping me get the landlady to come over. Thank
Oh,
you.
absolutely. Cool.
Exactly.
Cool. Very cool. Maybe. Okay. Sweet.
Call him back.
Awesome.
When?
All right. Yeah, he said just call him back later tonight. So I will record
Wow.
that. We'll do it. We'll.
Well. Wow.
Yeah. So that was a success story. That was very good.
Call him back later tonight. Cause
Yeah.
It's still early.
Yeah, it's still early. We'll
Wow,
log
this,
back in or something.
A very crazy and twisted, successful story of a mastermind in theater, mastermind in puppetry, mastermind in comedy, and mastermind in music, and also mastermind at producing his own ideas for shows. This guy is a master of everything. Wow.
Yeah,
this
seriously.
is a well-rounded artist that we were talking to here, and it's his energies, his craziness that he's gone through has created him to be like this. This is wow about artists. It's hard for me to explain what kind of artist, but he's a master of genius.
Well, he seems to be like a serious puppeteer master and a
Yeah.
composer. A master
Right.
composer of music. He writes all the musical parts and the vocal parts for all of the music for that show, the first show, which spanned like it sounded like 20 years or 10 years, 2007 or 1997, 2008, something
And
like
every
that.
issue for him not to become successful in a sense was relating to racism,
Yeah,
as he
absolutely,
explained to
absolutely.
us. And we're going to have a second segment coming up on a second segment talking to Mr. David Liebe Hart. And we want you guys to stay tuned for that, man.
Yeah,
This has been
this is
exciting.
awesome.
Wow,
Part
this
one
is-
was 3 hours. We'll
Yeah,
see how
wow.
deep it goes later tonight.
That was round one. Are
Yeah.
you ready for round two? This
Yeah,
guy's
holy
mad. This
shit.
guy's like radically magic in a way. I don't know. It's hard. Radically magic. Something he's creating that he can create these characters to be so real like, and then his vocals that will catch your attention because they're high pitched squeaking, but realness and talking and directing what he wants from his characters in a sense of like, I see what's going on in the world and I'm not going to let be like that last guest, victim not. By creating really good characters and really good art and sticking with the program regardless of all the racism that he has to deal with. This man is a hardworking man who's not going to give up in the industry because of all the walls, the negative walls that was built around him because he's a black man in America.
For real. Serious.
Man.
Yeah, no, it was amazing. Here, I'm going to cut it, and we'll be back in,
We'd like
in
to
a
thank
couple
you.
hours.
We'd like to thank you guys for hanging out with us, and we'll see you again in a couple hours or so with David Liebe Hart.
You did
Thank
it.
you.
Fuck
Good night,
yes.
guys.
All right, so see y'all in a bit.